All right, so we are live now. Over to you, Chidima, for the moderation of the event.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, since we can't hear you anymore, are you still there?
Yes, I can hear you. No one is here, so should we just start like that?
Yeah. Welcome them. Okay, so welcome everybody. We are live. So good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry we've been here, but then we had to fix some things for us to be able to come live so that we can have the flawless presentation here tonight. This is the Publish Nation Virtual Conference 2023. Yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome,
Welcome, guys.
welcome,
Welcome,
welcome.
welcome, welcome, welcome. Say hi if you are here. If you're live with me, say hi in the comment section and I'll be welcoming you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the publish event, book publishing event. And you can see you say hi in the comments and we welcome you.
All
Welcome,
right,
guys.
everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for joining in. So we'll wait a little bit while we wait for others to join us tonight for this wonderful conversation. This is the Publish Nation Virtual Conference, the third edition for the year 2024, and we are here to humbly welcome you. I have with me Chidima, and together we're going to be co-hosting, and she's going to be moderating the event tonight. For tonight's event, we have 4 amazing sessions with 4 amazing speakers as well. And I am sure that you're ready for tonight's teachings. And so you're ready for the conference tonight. Do well to share the link to this particular live broadcast. Share it on your social media pages so that you can get to help other people see it and come check what we are doing right here. Share this live stream, share it on your WhatsApp status, share it on your Facebook page, share it on your Instagram page, share it across board, and let others get to join us right here in tonight's conversation. It's the Publish Nation Virtual Conference 2024. Yeah, over to you, Chidima.
Okay, guys, keep sharing, and say hi in the comments if you're here so I can welcome you personally because you are important. So keep sharing our links and don't forget to share. Welcome to the Publish Nation Virtual Conference 2024, and we are glad you're here. You're important and we want you here. So keep sharing the link so we can have others join us, and don't forget to type your name in the comments and say hi in the comments so I can see you. Welcome. Welcome to the Publish Nation Virtual Conference. Say hi in the comments and I'll tell you a personal welcome. Well done, guys. Keep sharing the link, and don't forget to invite your friends. Keep sharing the link. We are live. We have a great discussion ahead of us, and we can't do that if you don't invite your friends. So invite them and let's do this.
Yeah.
Keep sharing the
So
link, share the link.
okay, so we would go on a short break right now. We'll play a very short video clip while we wait for others to join in before we begin to share tonight. So over to this DJ. So we'll just play a very short musical clip.
It's amazing how you love me. It's amazing how you do the things you do for me. Testimonies, It's amazing how you love me. It's amazing how you do the things you do for me. Testimonies, It's amazing how you love me. It's amazing how you do the things you do for me. Testimonies,
All right, so welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. You can just indicate in the comment section once you join in where you are watching us from, and the moderator will do well to give you a big shout out. So, without wasting much of our time, because we believe that the program today has been scheduled already, and we do not plan to waste your time, we're just going to start off with the first presentation. But before we do that, the moderator is briefly going to share with us what the Publish Nation Virtual Conference is all about and the reason why we are organizing this event and the motive behind it. So over to you, Chidima. Please give us a brief of the Publish Nation Virtual Conference. Thank you.
Okay, guys, welcome to the Publish Nation Virtual Conference. I'm going to be talking about what it is all about. Okay, join me. Publish Nation Virtual Conference is a comprehensive and interactive event designed to empower authors and book service professionals to navigate the complex and ever evolving publishing landscape. This event promises to be a transformative experience, offering a unique blend of expert insights, practical guidance, and networking opportunities to help attendees achieve their publishing goals. The Publish Nation Virtual Conference aims to one, gain a deeper understanding of the publishing industry and its various aspects. Two, develop a clear plan to achieve their publishing goals, including writing, editing, publishing, marketing, and sales strategy. Three, connect with industry professionals, potential partners, and like minded authors and book service providers. Four, live with a renewed sense of purpose and motivation to succeed in the publishing world. Five, take away valuable resources, including event materials, templates, and to support their publishing journey. The Publish Nation Virtual Conference is fully a virtual event that caters to a global audience. The event is usually live streamed and recordings will be available for on demand viewing. Join us on this transformative journey this year and let's chart your course to success in the publishing world. Okay, guys, like I said, the summary, if you're a publisher, a writer, and editor, this event is for you and it was made specially for you. And if you stay long enough, you're going to grab 18 or two. So I'll be welcoming the host, the person of Miss Oluwabori, to give her welcome address. Miss Oluwabori, take the stage. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Publish Nation community. So good to have you here. Thank you for joining us again in this year's edition of Publish Nation Virtual Conference, and this happens to be the third edition. My name is Olua Borishiele, and I am the host and organizer of the Publish Nation Virtual Conference. And just like you have heard, the Publish Nation Virtual Conference it's an annual virtual event, at least for now, where we get to bring like-minded individuals together, authors, would-be authors, book service providers, be it editors, publishers, ghostwriters, book cover designers, book formatters, publishers, just name it. But we get to bring everybody together and we get to learn, unlearn, and relearn as well. And so today, this edition, this third edition, promises to be an interesting edition. I'm sure you are ready with all your questions because this is a free and it's of course a virtual event where we are here to pour out our mind. Like we are here to pour expressly, to share expressly with you. We have amazing lineup of speakers, people who are professionals in their diverse fields who would be sharing with us here tonight. And of course, the event continues by extension till tomorrow. And of course, today we have four speakers lined up to share with us amazing stuff that we need to know in the book publishing industry. So if you're just joining us, please let us know in the comment section. Tell us where you're joining from so that we can give you a big welcome. Once again, welcome everybody. I also want us to use this opportunity. Let's just not listen alone. If you have questions that have been bothering your mind as regards book publishing, this is the time for you to ask your question because you're going to be getting free answers. All the speakers are going to take their time to attend to all your questions. So do well to drop your questions in the chat box when the time arises for that, and your questions will definitely be be attended to. And who knows, you might even get access for probably a free consultation section with any of the speakers. So stay tuned and do well to invite your friends as well. Invite your friends, invite your loved ones, invite everybody that needs to be here. All right, so thank you so much everyone for joining in. Over to you, Chidima.
Okay, so we'll be going on a short break so we can wait for others. Media team, please, can you play a short video for us so we can wait for others?
It's amazing how you love me. It's amazing how you do the things you do for me. Testimonies, it's amazing how you love me. It's amazing how you do the things you do for me. Testimonies, it's amazing how you love me. It's amazing how you do the things you do for me. Testimonies,
Okay, guys. Okay, if you are here, please say hi in the comment section so I give you a shout out. Tell you welcome. Welcome to the Publish Nation Virtual Event, and we are welcoming you wherever you are chatting from. If you're chatting from any state you're chatting from, indicate in the comments. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our event. So we'll be inviting our first speaker to talk about what this event is about and what he wants to talk about. So our first speaker is Oluwabori Shoyele. She's the founder and lead consultant at Pub Code Publishing, a book publishing outfit set up to offer a diverse range of book publishing services. She's a publisher by excellence and have handled several book publications in print and online. She has worked with over 70 authors and offered excellent book consultant services for clients with books across all genres. She's a published author of 7 books, including her best-selling book, Becoming an Author. Can we welcome Miss Oluwabori Shoyele? Miss Oluwabori Shoyele, take the stage. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Thank you so very much, Chidima. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. So good to have you join us here this evening. Thank you, everyone. And so, today I've introduced myself before, but if you are getting to meet me for the first time, my name is Oluwabori Shoyele, and I am going to be taking the first section of the event. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen right now. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. Let me know if you can see my screen. All right.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Just give me a sec. Let me put some more. Okay. Good, 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 good. I believe that we can all see my screen. If you can see my screen, just indicate in the comment section, type I can see your screen. All right, so today I'll be speaking on project management, book project management, understanding the process and avoiding common pitfalls. Now, just before we proceed, I want us to turn off all distractions to pay full attention. I want you to share the link to this broadcast on your social media page as well, so that you can help someone out there who needs to be here. And then also, I want you to get your writing materials ready. And prepare to drop your questions right in the chat box. I promise you to answer every of your questions tonight. And I love a chatty conversation, so do well to engage with me tonight in the chat box. I want to read your comments and I love to read from you. Thank you. All right. So my name is Oluwabori. I'm a book project consultant and book publisher. Funny enough, how some people still, they are surprised seeing a female being a book publisher. And so many times, I always get a mismatch, as in when people refer to me as a man, or where my client expect that I should be a man. And so on first contact, they're always referring to me as a sir instead of a man. It's quite funny. And I'm like, what's the big deal there, right? Because there's this assumption, or probably a misconception, that it's only female males that should be book publishers and not female. Anyways, I've come here to stay. So good to meet me, a female book publisher. All right, so today I'm going to be sharing with you on the topic book project management, understanding um, the process and avoiding common pitfalls. All right, so now here is this. I just want to ask you this. There are two words showing right now on your screen. You have the word book and then the word manuscript. You have the word book and you have the word manuscript. Now people tend to uh, use these two interchangeably, and possibly they think it's the same, but they are not the same thing. They are quite different and not the same. So I'm going to be explaining that to you. But then I would love to have your response in the comment section. If you still believe that, oh no, they should be the same, then you can indicate with a yes. And if you think that they are not the same, then you can indicate with a no. All right, I will be checking the comment section for your response. All right, so now talking about the difference between the two. A book is the end product of a manuscript, and it is what you have after your manuscript have undergone the stages of publishing. A book can be published or unpublished in different formats, say ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. Of course, there are other ones too, but these are like the very common ones. But a manuscript, on the other hand, is the unprocessed form of a book. It is the source or the origin of a book. So that means without your manuscript, you cannot talk about a book. But these days, you get to see people saying, oh, I want to publish my book. I want to edit my book. I want to format my book, But those statements are actually wrong in the right sense of it. If you are to follow the terms that are used in the publishing industry, those terms they are not right. Okay, instead of saying I want to edit my book, or I want to publish my book, or I want to format my book, you'd say I want to edit my manuscript, I want to edit my manuscript, I want to format my manuscript, I want to um, edit my manuscript, format my manuscript. Do you understand? That's the appropriate word to use, and not to say my book, because already it's not yet a book. It's still in the raw format. It's still undergoing processing. So this is the first thing that I want you to understand as regards your book project, that there's a difference between a book and a manuscript. Without a manuscript, you cannot have a book. Every book was once a manuscript. So know that. So whenever you are talking to your book editor, you don't say, oh, I want to edit my book. You say, I want to edit my manuscript. That's the appropriate word to use. Then if you want to format your book, you don't say, oh, I want to format my book. You say, I want to format my manuscript. Okay, not until you have published it, it is not yet a book but a manuscript. So I believe that we have taken note of that. All right, now before I go into the different book genres, I like to say this that you should understand, as an author or a would-be author, or even a book service provider, you should understand that every book is a project. Yes, every book is a project, and so you need to treat it as such. Now let's talk about the types of book genre. It's funny how some authors do not even know the genre to which their book belongs. So if you ask a particular author that this book you have written now, what genre is this? They're like, it is a book now. It is a book. It's about the story of my life. Whereas they do not really know the exact name that particular book is called, okay, in the world of book publishing. So here we have basically two main book genres. There are basically two main genres of book, okay, and each of the genres have subgenre. So we have fiction book genre and non-fiction book genre. Fiction book genre and non-fiction book genre. Now, what is the difference between the two? Now, a fiction book genre talks about things that are not factual. It contains information that are imaginary. It contains information that are not real or that are not true. Okay, so those are fiction books. And examples, you have fantasy, romance, sci-fi, mystery, thrillers, novella, comic, horror, and so on. There are quite a lot of subgenres under the fiction book genre. Why the non-fiction book genre, on the other hand, for those ones, they actually contain real information with facts that can be verified. Okay, they are things that happened in real life, like things that happen for real. They contain information of things that happened in real life, things that can be verified. Okay, examples of non-fiction book are self-help books. So all self-help books that teaches you about self-discipline, good habits, making friends, memoirs, that talks about the story of your life, cookbooks, biography, autobiographies, health books on health and wellness, academic textbooks, that's books that we use in the university and also in our high schools or secondary schools. Those are all examples of non-fiction book because the information in them can be verified. All right, so now let's look at the stages in book publishing. There are different stages in book publishing. Now, the stages that are listed here, they are not being listed in order of hierarchy, like to say, oh, this one comes before this. But at the same time, I'm going to be stating the ones that are very important. Now, if you check the order here, you see that marketing is at the bottom, at the lower part of it. Now, even though marketing is at the lower part, it is important that yet you put it first. Okay, most times, what happens with most author that results in a situation whereby they are not able to sell enough copies of their book is because they're actually putting this marketing at the last stage. This marketing, they are putting it at the last stage. But once you conceive the idea to write your book, you should also be planning who will buy this book. Who will buy this book? Who am I going to sell this book to? Who are the people that should buy? How am I going to sell this book? How many copies of it do I want to sell? At what price or what amount do I want to sell this book? Where am I going to put this book to sell it? You understand? Those are the questions that you should also have at the back of your mind once you conceive the idea to write your book. But most times, most of us authors, we do not really think about this. We always count it as the later part of the whole stage or the process, which is very wrong. Okay, so you want to ensure that you have asked yourself those questions ahead of time. Okay, so first thing first, when you consider the idea to write your book, of course, to publish a book or to author a book, you have to write it, right? You have to, it's either you are putting pen to paper or you are typing, because you have to get the information out from your head into a format that is readable and that is presentable. So writing is a very crucial stage. Now, the good news is this: with the advent of technology today, there are different ways to help us, be able to convey our ideas and be able to, put our ideas, bring our ideas from our head down to paper or in a format that is readable. You have the advent of AI. Although you have to be very careful, because using AI to write your book can also have its own disadvantage, especially when you do not use it well. So it is important that you use it well. It is important that you use it to your own advantage, so that at the end of the day, you will not be shooting yourself in the leg. All right, so now writing is important. It's very important that you write. Now, if you do not, aside from using technological tools like AI, another way to write your book, if you do not have the time or you do not have the zeal or the creative mind to sit down and write and detail everything that happened or that you want to share, you can use the service of a ghostwriter. And fortunately for us tonight, we are having we're going to have an experienced and professional ghostwriter join us here tonight, and she's going to be sharing with us on ghostwriting at full length. So I trust that you want to listen to that segment as well. So you can go for ghostwriting. So you can get a ghostwriting service, pay for it, and all you just need to do is to communicate whatever it is that you want to have in your book to that person, to the ghostwriter, and the ghostwriter would convey your thoughts in a readable format. Now, after writing has been done, the next stage is editing. It is important that you edit your work. Yes, and I like to say this: there are two, aside from the stages of editing. Of course, we also have an editor here on board who is going to share with us in detail what editing is all about when it comes to your book project. Now, when we talk about editing, the editing is into two parts. Okay, I'm not really talking about editing main two parts. Okay, there is a part where you have to do what we call self-editing by yourself for yourself on your manuscript, and then the second part is where you now turn it over to a professional book editor. Okay, because once you are done writing, you don't just, it's not about that you just take your work like that and just send it over to the editor. Well, it's possible that there are certain places where you have omitted some things, or there are certain chapters that you could not complete at the time of writing, or it could be that there are certain things that you would love to add on reading it again. So it's very important that you also self-edit. Self-editing that author just means you revising what you have done, what you have written rather, revising it again and trying to see, okay, is there anything I want to add more? Oh, see, I made a mistake here. You correct it yourself. Oh, I didn't complete this chapter. Let me complete it. So that's what self-editing is all about. So it's very important that you do that before you then pass it over to a professional book editor. Now, it would be a disaster for you to say you want to write a book that you are going to sell, that is going to bless lives, and you are not going to give it to a professional editor. You are not helping yourself, and neither are you helping the destiny of your book. So it's important that you give it to an editor. Now, when you are submitting your manuscript to your editor, most times, most of we authors, what we do is that we only submit our manuscript. We do not include the back matter, which are basically about the book, about the author. You understand? Some people do not even submit their book titles and subtitles to the author. They believe that, to the editor, they believe that it's something I've deliberated upon, but you can't tell. It could be a particular article, or maybe a particular conjunction, like a word that is not meant to be there ideally, okay, that your editor will be able to see and correct. So it's very important that you send this information along with your manuscript. I mean, you're about the book and about the author. You also have the book cover design stage. Now, the book cover design stage, the book cover can come before editing and it can come after editing. It can also come simultaneously while you are editing. So while your manuscript is with your editor, you can also be designing the book cover as well. Okay, because with the book cover, you'll be able to promote the book ahead of time before it is finally ready for public consumption. All right. So the next stage is book formatting. Book formatting. Now, there are some people that have this school of thought that your book should be formatted before it should be edited. Well, I think it's best that your book is being edited before formatting. Yes, it's best that your book is edited before format, because while the formatter is working on your book, they're also reading through. Yes, they are reading through, so they can be able to see, oh, there's no full stop here, oh, there's no comma here, oh, there's no colon here, stuff like that. So once the editor is done editing your book, the next stage is to format it, where you do the book interior design, and then you put it into formats that can be uploaded online. Okay. All right, so the next stage after that is your online publishing / printing. There are two forms of publication. Either you do the print publication or you do the online publication. So when you do the online publication, that's the ebook. When you do the print publication, that's the one you have in hard copy. All right. So now, after that, the next is launch. So immediately the book has been launched online or have been printed, what you then need to do, like if it has been published online or printed, the next thing is to launch it. And it is very, very important that you launch your book. Book launches are very good. Okay, so marketing, you should plan for it before you start writing, and also even after writing and after your book has been published. It is important that you still continue to market your book. All right, what are the common pitfalls to avoid when it comes to your book project? Number one, your book is a project and it should be handled as such. So you should resist every urge, any urge to want to skip any stage in the process of publishing your book. Yes. So please, it is a project. If you are talking about, there are different types of projects, right? We have housing projects, building projects, different type of projects. If for instance now you are undergoing a building project and the engineer just decides to say, oh, you know what, there's no need for foundation or there's no need for lintel, we're just going to ignore those parts and move on, there will be disaster. Like, it will not take weeks before that building will collapse because the important stages have been skipped. So that same applies to your book project as well. Don't skip any part. Don't say, oh, I can do the cover myself. Oh, I can edit it myself. If you do that, you are jeopardizing the destiny of your book. If your book was meant to shine 100%, it's only going to shine like 60% or 40%. So you don't want to do that. All right. Next point is this. Next pitfall to avoid is that self-editing is important as an author. Okay, before you pass your manuscript down to a professional book editor. So please, by all means, ensure that you self-edit your book before you pass it down to your editor, to the book editor. Make sure you self-edit it. And by self-editing, I mean revising it. Revise it and read through what you have written down. Check the chapters again. Is there anything you want to add more? Read through it again and see if there are places where you omitted a point or an idea or an incident that you want to add, or a scene, before you then pass it to the book editor. Then I believe you are following. Please let me know in the comment section if you are with me. Let me know in the comment section. All right. So now another thing again is that your book title is as important as the content of your book. So ensure you don't miss it. Avoid using long or existing titles if possible. Now these days, if you look at it, it's as though all the important, beautiful, nice titles have been taken. And so sometimes it might be hard coming up with a book title. But regardless of that, if you can avoid existing titles, please try and avoid it, okay? And if you can also, by all means, you should even avoid long titles, because long titles are very difficult for people to remember. If your title is too long, is having more than 5 words, there is a problem. People will not be able to recall it to say it out at once. So ensure that your title is simple, is short, and it is concise. Then the next thing, be sure your title is what you want to work with going forward in your book project before passing it on to the cover designer. Many people make this mistake, okay, because they do not do their proper research, or because they do not consult with their editor, or maybe because they did not take advice or feedback. They just decide to slap the title on the cover, and at the end of the day, maybe by the time they're about to launch the book, they now find out that, oh, this particular word is not meant to be in the title. It should be this. So let's remove this word. This one is not good to be here. And before you know it, there'll be a need for them to redesign the cover. Doing that, that means your book cover designer will want to charge you a little fee for wanting to redesign or to make changes to the title on the cover. So it's very important that you ensure that your title is 100% correct before you take it over to the book cover designer. Now, if you have written a non-fiction book, ensure to include a subtitle. If you have written a non-fiction book, ensure to include a subtitle. Yeah, subtitle help explain the book title better, adding more context to it. Now, if you are a non-fiction writer, yeah, I've explained what a non-fiction book is. Please, by all means, put a subtitle. Subtitles will help add more weight to the design, and it will also help add more context to your title. So your title will not just be vague, it will add at least a little bit of hint as to what the book is about. So if you have written a non-fiction book here, you are watching this and your non-fiction book does not have a subtitle, please do well to put it. For fiction book, it's optional. Most fiction books do not have subtitle. Of course, they can have series like series 1 or volume 1 or part 1, something like that. All right. Okay. So in the choice of an author's name, whether pen name or not, ensure that there is consistency all through your subsequent publication. So what do I mean by this? If, for example, the first book you published, let's say in 2020, you used the name John Boats. Okay, that was the name you used. Now, because you now feel like, oh, I don't like John Boats, let me choose another one, then your second book that you are publishing this 2024, you now decide to use John Bull. There's a difference already. So you are confusing your audience. They are confused. They're like, is it that John Bull is a new person now and John Boat is the old one? They are confused already. And you cannot have everybody to explain to say, oh, it is me, I'm still the same person, I only change my name. You can't have everybody to explain to, because of course, where would you even see everybody to be telling them, oh, I'm still the same person, just go ahead and buy from me? No. So make sure you stick with just one name. Okay, and this applies to people that are changing names, especially female authors, because of marriage. Okay, of course, some people before they married, they were using their maiden name, and so when they get married, they want to have to change their name to their husband's name. I think it depends on you, and it's a matter of choice. So you can just want to stick with your maiden name, okay, because it just has to do with your book, right? Exactly. That doesn't change the fact that you are married. you are married and you bear your husband's name, you can use it for other formal stuffs. All right. So the next point is this: you're about the book and the about the author is part of your manuscript. So ensure to edit those parts before submitting it to your cover designer. I have seen this happen quite a lot of times where people submit about the author and about the book content that is not properly edited, and they expect the cover designer to be editing it. A cover designer is not an editor. They have little to zero knowledge about editing, like that they will now take your book, about the book and about the author, and they will start editing it. Like, you shouldn't expect them to do that. When you send it over to them, already in their mind they believe you have done the due process, so they'll just go ahead and paste it on the back cover. So ensure that you give it to your editor. Tell your editor, please kindly help me edit this content. I want to send it over to my cover designer. Okay. Then the next point, by all means, ensure that your about the book or author bio is well written and reveals only information that pertains to the content of the book. Now, why are we sharing this? Over time, I've found out that many people, many authors, they just, when it comes to about their author, about the author does not have to be very lengthy. Okay, if you have not achieved much, there's room for you to achieve more, right? So that doesn't mean you should now start writing things and then you now say, I'm doing that so that it can be bulky, I can have more volume to the content. No. Okay, you don't need to start telling us, oh, my name is Oluwaborishele, I finished from so and so primary school in the year 1985. I attended so and so secondary school in the year 1982. You don't need to start telling us that I am married to so and so and so. We are blessed with this kid, this kid, this kid. What other thing people share? People just share, I attend to so and so church. Nobody is asking you for that. Okay, make sure you only share relevant information that pertains to the book itself, like the book that talks to the book itself. Don't share beyond and don't share less. All right. Then for your print publication, ensure to apply and get your ISBN ahead of time to avoid unnecessary delay. I have experienced this before with my clients, and that has taught me a great lesson. At Top Code Publishing, we do not waste time. Once we are 100% sure that you are printing your book, we go ahead and apply for ISBN. Although ISBN for ebooks are not compulsory, but for paperback, it is a must. Okay, so ensure that you start the application early. And then the next point, do not release or share your manuscript with random persons, including book service providers. Ensure proper communication before sending over to them. Okay, so now some people, because they do not, I believe it's because they do not value what they have. And so because they do not value what they have, what happens? They tend to share their stuffs. When they see this person, they'll quickly send their manuscript to them. When they see that person, they'll quickly send it to them. When you are doing this, you are exposing your manuscript to risk. You are exposing your intellectual property to risk. That means anybody can pick it up and call it their own. Anybody can go ahead and publish it before you are ahead of time and take the sole ownership. And that's when you'll not be able to, like they will say, you will explain tire, because nobody will listen to you. Be like, how do we confirm this? So you have to be very careful. If you are going to share it with a book service provider, make sure you have concluded that this and this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to work with you based on this. At Top Code Publishing, we usually give our clients non-disclosure agreement, NDA, where we sign the contract to say you must not review the content of my book at any point in time. Okay, so it's very important that you also have that. So before you transact with any book service provider and before you share your manuscript with them. Then also for your print publication, ensure you have a ready and buying audience before printing. This is very, very important. Or people just carry their money, maybe it's Isusu money or Ajo money, just carry it, and because the zeal is there, they will go and print 1,000 copies of their book. At the end of the day, they will have like 999 copies sitting pretty in their sitting room. Nobody is buying it. So make sure you apply wisdom. Print in batches. There are at Public Publishing, we do 100. So we can print 100 copies for you for a start. So you can print in batches like that. When you sell the first batch, based on people's demand, you go ahead and print some more. Then the next point, writer's block is very real, but discipline, determination, and focus is enough to help you overcome it. Yes, writer's block is very, very real, but you need to be disciplined and say, you know what, I must smash my writing goal. You need to be determined to say, you know what, I must finish this manuscript. I must not carry it over to next year. Okay, and then you need to be focused as well. When it is time for you to write, if it is 30 minutes a day that you have chosen, make sure you follow through. Don't do 30 minutes today then you stop next tomorrow, and like that. If you do that, it means you are inconsistent, and you would not you definitely not get the result you're looking for. Then it is advisable that before you commence writing your manuscript, ensure to put your book idea into an outline. Outline works like magic. Okay, you are here right now, you are listening to me, and you're like, wow, I have this light bulb moment of idea in my head, and immediately you just want to scribble it down somewhere. Once that happens, the best way to convey that idea and prevent it from running away from you is to write it down and draw an outline. By an outline, I mean you write out step by step, like these are the things I want to discuss in this book. Of course, you might not get everything or all the point out in a day, but as you go over it again and again, you begin to see more things that you are going to add. Okay, because the outline will guide you to say, okay, in chapter 1 I'll be talking about this point, in chapter 2 I'll be talking about this point, chapter 3, then that will now be a guide for you to start writing the book chapter by chapter. All right, then the next point, if you are the pen and paper kind of author like me, ensure to convert your written text to typed text using the following word processing app. I'm sure some of us are here, it's not a crime, but people don't know all of these things, and some people are like, this thing you can only type on your laptop. So if I don't have a laptop, I cannot type. It's a lie. You can type with your smartphone. Once you're able to get the WPS app from Google Play Store, Google Docs, you can also download it from there. Microsoft Word, Color Notes, and so on. Those are the apps you can use to get your book, your manuscript in text format. All right, so the next one, in order to get a book service provider that will fit perfectly well into your budget, consider using social media pages to ask for recommendation. These days, thank God for social media, right? So make sure you are using it to your advantage. If you need a book editor, announce, hello everyone, kindly suggest or recommend um affordable book service book editors. People will be happy with joy. They will reply you, right? If you need a book cover designer, do the same. If you have groups that you have joined online, go to those groups and drop the same post, and you see people tagging, commenting just for you. So that way you can go ahead and go to those people's DM and ask for their budgets. That way you can compare and contrast and know who you are going to give your manuscript to. Now, next point is that it is one thing to have a great book idea. It is another thing to know who to, how to, and where to sell the book. Effective marketing strategy and audience persona is very important. Authors, most of us do not know our audience persona. Like, if they ask you now, this book you have written, who is this book for? We don't know. We don't know. People say it's for everybody. No, that's a big lie. Your book is not for everybody. It is not everybody that will buy your book, okay? Out of the everybody, there are a certain percentage that are going to buy your book, or that should buy your book, or that your book is meant for. So you have to go and look for where they are and sell your book to them. All right. So the next point, I hope you are with me. If you are with me, let me know in the comment section. I can see some people joining us. Okay, so it says books don't sell themselves, people do. This is my all-time quote. Like, I do share it from time to time on my timeline. Books don't sell themselves, people do. Your book marketing solely lies in your hand as the author. Okay, don't say my book is not selling. It's because you are not ready to put in the work. I'm sure we can see the way things are turning out these days with all of everybody's not a content creator, right? You see how somebody wants to do a new movie. You see the way they will be pulling stunts online, right? That's the work they are doing. They are putting in the work. Because if they don't put the stunts, how would you see it? How would you be able to discuss it with your friends that, did you see that movie? See the intro they did, see the content this person, this kit maker created, see this, see that. So as authors, we are not exempted. We should be able to also do that as well. Then the next point, avoid sharing your published and priced book via popular social media platforms like WhatsApp. There are virtually everybody is guilty of this, but if you are not guilty of it, congratulations, thumbs up to you. All right, so it is very important that you try as much as possible to stop selling your book via WhatsApp. The next thing, bank transfer, it's via WhatsApp already. If you do this, it increases the risk of your book. Your book will be liable to intellectual theft, because it's very easy for people to transfer things on WhatsApp. Like, virtually 70, 80, 90% of people are on WhatsApp, especially in Nigeria. Yeah, we love WhatsApp, right? It's like our go-to, our default social media platform. And so it's very easy for me to say, oh, have you read this book? Let me send it to you. Instead of them to refer the person to the author to go and buy their own copy, they would rather say, let me send it to you. That way you are losing out, and also you are risking your intellectual property on that note. Then resist the urge to sell your book as a Microsoft Word document. If you are a JJC author here, please do not sell your book as a Microsoft Word document. If you do that, if they do not get to still convert your manuscript, then you should go and do Thanksgiving in church. It's very important. So make sure you convert it to PDF. PDF is quite hard, though you can still copy and paste, but at least it kinds of increase the stress for whoever who wants to convert and edit and re-edit. Okay, so the next point here says book launches are important, whether it's for if for your ebook or your paperback. It can be virtual or physical. Yes, book launches are important. I've said that before. Book launches are very, very important, so make sure you do it. Virtual book launches are very less expensive and important, so you can want to do that one. All right, so it says multiple cover design syndrome. Avoid it. Avoid it. Your cover designer has given you free samples of your cover, and because you love everything is fine, and you now say, okay, if I use this one on Monday, I'll use this one on Tuesday. If I use this one to promote the book in January, I'll use this one to promote the book in February. If you are doing that, you are harming yourself and your book. The reason is that, once again, everybody is not going to be available for you to start explaining to say, you see this one, these two book covers are my covers. Anywhere you see any one of them, just buy my book. No, there will be some people who are your followers online. They're just meeting you for the first time, and they do not even know when and how you decided to start using two different covers for your book. So they can't even tell it apart. They're like, I saw one in blue, I saw one in red. Which one is it? Which one is your own? So you have to be very careful. Avoid multiple cover design syndrome. Just stick with one. Then, as much as you can, resist the urge to want to DIY every stage of your book project. Allow professional book service providers help you with it, so it is up to standard. All right, so thank you everyone for joining. Right now, I would love to take your question. I believe that the other lineup of speakers are waiting already, and I do not want to waste much of our time here tonight. So let me see if you have questions for me. Question. It's question time. Let me know if you have questions for me. I can see some of our speakers
Okay.
already. They point.
Thank you, Oluwabori. Thank you for that wonderful session. I really, really had value from your speech. What stood out for me,
Thank
you said that a book is the end product of a manuscript. Like if you have a
you.
manuscript, it's not a book yet until you publish it as a book. And also avoid the do-it-yourself mentality. People need to help you. You can't do it all by yourself. So if at the point where you need help, ask for help and make sure publishers help you publish your book. That's what I got, and it's really, really enlightening for me because most times I love doing things myself, but I got value. So, Bori, we have some questions for you. You'd love to answer our questions. We have a few questions for you. Studio, can you? Okay, it said, how can I become a book project consultant? How can I become a book project consultant? Over to
All
you,
right,
Bori.
thank you, Chidima. So, for that question, how can I become a book project consultant? It's very simple. First, before you become a book project consultant, it's very important that you must have taken courses and you have knowledge of how each of those stages I've explained earlier, how each of those stages actually work. You must have an understanding of how it works. Okay, you must know have little knowledge about book cover design, editing, ghostwriting, formatting, Amazon KDP. You must have knowledge of each of those things, stages, and know how it works. Because if you do not understand it, there's no way you can offer guidance to an author or share with them or guide them on what to do. This is how you do it. This is the platform you should use. This is the one you should not use. So it's very important that you guide. You can go ahead and take courses on each of these stages I've mentioned, just for you to have a background knowledge of what applies in each of them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful answer. Do we have other questions? Okay, as a self published author, do I need a book project consultant? Do I need a book project consultant as an author who is self published? Okay, you can
Okay.
answer.
Okay, so as a self-published author, now the advent of self-publishing, the term self-publishing itself makes people believe that self-publishing is basically DIY, but it is not. It is not basically DIY. It's just, even though you are the person that would write the book yourself, that if you decide not to use a ghostwriter, but at the same time, it's not a time or an opportunity for you to DIY everything. Okay, it's an opportunity for you to oversee the affairs of things by yourself. So instead of somebody saying, a publisher saying, I will give it to a book publisher and to a book cover designer ourselves, you are meeting the book cover designer yourself. You are telling the book cover designer what your book is all about and what they should see, what you want people to see, what the storyline is, what the characters are like. You are the one doing the explanation by yourself to each of the book service provider. That's just about that. So now, as a self-published author, you need a book project consultant, especially if this is your first time. Like, this is your first time of writing or publishing a book, you need a book project consultant. It could be a one-time consultation fee that you are going to pay. It could be for 1 hour, it could be for 2 hours, or it could even be maybe for a period of say 1 month. There are people and coaches like that would train you on how to write and publish your book. So it's very important.
Okay, thank you, Bori, for that wonderful answer. So we are going to move ahead. We just had, okay, something for you.
Sorry, Chidima.
Our previous speaker.
Sorry. Just
Okay,
before we leave, so here is I have an offer here for anybody that wants to get it, just for the sole purpose of this particular event. Yes. So that's one of my best-selling book, Becoming an Author. There I share a lot of do's and don'ts for different stages of publishing. Before you write your book, while you're writing your book, and after writing your book, you have the different answers, questions, things to avoid, things to do, and things not to do. And I think it has over 40 different um, ideas, pitfalls to avoid, and things to do right in that book. So you can grab your own copy from sila.co/BAA, sila.co/BAA. So thank you very much.
okay, there's an offer for you from Oluwabori, something for you. Go to seller.co and do what is asked of you. Okay, over to we are going to the next item on our program. We have the next speaker. We're going to be inviting our next speaker for this event, and join me as I read the person's bio. The person of Mercy Oyenonye. So she's a ghostwriter and she's going to be speaking in the next few minutes. Mercy Joseph Oyenoye is a skilled ghostwriter and storyteller. She has been in the writing field for a few years and she's now a full-time writer, making over 7 figures annually. She's a coach in the writing field, ghost writing specifically, and she also has a knack for helping young people harness greatness in the writing industry. Mercy Oyenoye, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to this event, and you have the stage.
Thank you very much. I am very honored to be here tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can you all hear me, please? Can somebody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I hope I am clear enough.
Very clear, crystal clear.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Mercy Joseph Onyenoye. Okay, it's called Oyenoye. Thank you. I heard the way you pronounced it. I just smiled. It's Oyenoye. Thank you for having me here tonight, and I am really honored to be here. I've been looking forward to this day, and I must say that the next 20 minutes I'll be having here this night is going to be a moment of impact. So I hope you're ready, please. Please, I like having an interactive session. So if you're ready, can I see your chat, your comments? Somebody just say you're ready. Are we there?
Yes, we're ready. We're
Okay, I
ready.
can. All right. So tonight going to be talking about ghostwriting for authors. We're going to be talking about ghostwriting for authors. But before I begin, I would like to talk about ghostwriting. Ghostwriting, the word ghostwriting. What does ghostwriting mean? Many people have heard the word ghostwriting and they're like, what is it? what does it actually mean? Ghostwriting means that you are writing for a person, you are writing for a client, and that client is taking the credit for the work. You are the author, you are the writer, but you're trying to create an author. You're not the original owner of that content, but you are writing for someone else, and that person pays you a satisfying amount that covers every ownership that you might be having to that book. So when we talk of ghostwriting, ghostwriting did not just start today. Ghostwriting has been for a very long time now, and we've come to see it today as something that helps writers earn in huge figures. People are earning huge from ghostwriting, ranging from fiction writing, non-fiction writing, articles, script writing, even songs. People ghostwrite lyrics for musicians, and they go ahead and sing the song. They are the original owners of those music, but there was a ghostwriter behind the scene. So our title today says ghostwriting for authors, and then a subtitle, collaborating to make best sellers. Now we all must have heard the saying that there is a book in everyone. There is a book in everyone. And you must believe that there is a book in everyone. But then there is this cynical that no, not everyone can write a book. Okay? We want to believe that everyone has an idea to create a book, but not everyone can write a book. I just want to clarify that aspect tonight, that everyone can be an author. In fact, everyone is gradually becoming authors, because you go to different fields today. You go to the church, for example, you see a pastor is an author. A pastor has authored a book. A barrister has authored a book. You go to the hospital, you see a doctor has authored a book. Now, this does not mean that the doctor wrote this book by himself. There was a ghostwriter. Unless, of course, the doctor is a writer. And it is very possible a doctor can be a writer. A barrister can be a writer. A pastor can be a writer. But then they do not have to be a writer to write the book. That is where the ghostwriter comes in. Now, when we talk about collaborating with collaborating to create best sellers, we are saying that you can actually help people who have ideas burning within them and they want to bring it out as a book. They want to write a book, but then they are not writers, and they're wondering, how can I vet this book? How can I bring out this idea that is burning within me? Now that is why a ghostwriter exists. That is why a ghostwriter exists. This does not mean that as a ghostwriter you cannot author your own book. You can. But the process of writing for someone else and giving them the credit for that work is called ghostwriting. And today I want to tell you on how you can collaborate with authors, in aspiring authors, collaborate with them and create bestsellers. Are you following me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mercy.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I can see your comments now. Okay, so the first thing on my list here on how you collaborate with aspiring authors to create bestsellers is by, first of all, holding series of conversations. Now, before we go properly into this point, I only have 20 minutes here today, but I have a lot to talk about, and I'm going to be bringing them in gradually. Before we go into this point, you need to know that 50% of fiction and non-fiction books out there that are bestsellers were not actually written by the authors. Okay, I have stated this before, that you do not have to be a writer to write a book. You can author a very professional book. You can author a very interesting book. You can author a best-selling book, even though you did not write it by yourself. That is why we exist, the ghostwriters. So I said, hold a series of conversation. That is the first step to collaborating and creating bestsellers. Maybe someone comes to you and says, I have this idea that I want to write about, but then I am not into writing. Writing is not my thing. But there's this idea. I feel like there's something I want to put out. I feel like there is a way I can impact the world. I feel like there is a fiction story that I can make that people would love to read. What do you do as the ghostwriter? You don't go into this person's head and grab the idea in bulk. No, you don't do that. What you do is you start a conversation about this book. And this person wants to create the book. This person is the author of the book because he is the one that has the original idea of the book. You will be doing the work of writing. That is the only thing you'll be doing. But this person is giving you the idea for the book. And you need to collect every bit of that idea. So you start gradually. You ask for the story idea in context. When you ask for the story idea, then you can begin to break it down parts by parts. Okay, you begin to break it down slowly. You follow up this person. The person tells you from what the first chapter looks like, the second chapter what they want us to look like, the third chapter, every word. It might not be every word. I'm just exaggerating. It might not be every word. You're not going to be taking every word, but you're going to be taking every idea from this intending author, this aspiring author. You're going to be taking every idea from him and you bring it down and you expand the ideas into words that will fill pages and create a stunning book. Okay. So the next thing there is you create an on the you create experiences. Sorry, as the intending author, you are the one who have the experiences. Maybe you want to share something that happened to you that somehow brought up this idea of this book you want to write. You do not say, because I am not the one writing this book, then I cannot share my experiences in this book. No. You tell your ghostwriter the experiences you had. You bring it and in form of maybe a short story, something to just take, something that would captivate the readers. Bring it as a short story, something that happened to you a while ago, and it is kind of related to this story idea. It is welcome. Your phrases, your favorite phrase. Maybe there is a word you like to say, and there is the origin of that word or the origin of that phrase. It means something to you, and you want to include it in your book. You tell everything, give the ghostwriter the details of this book. Do not exclude anything from it. You give the ghostwriter the details of the book, the story idea, the experiences, the common phrases. Okay, your ghostwriter needs to understand your story idea very well before they are able to create a book that looks like you are the one who created it. Then you come to the second way we can collaborate with clients to create bestsellers. The second way here is to create an understanding audience. Okay, you need to know that for me to write a book for a person, this book is not mine, and this person has a purpose for writing this book. Now that purpose is not for everybody. There is a target audience for that book. If this person is a doctor and wants to write in a medical field, he wants to write a medical related topic, now you know that this is not for everybody. So you should be able to first of all get the target audience. You get the target audience, and you secondly write in the language that the audience will understand. You don't come and use medical grammars when you're writing to people who are not in the medical field. Okay, so you need to know the target audience. If you come to me today and say you want to write a book, let's say you are a pastor and you want to write a book related to spiritual matters, I would not come and be using biology related words. I will not come and be talking about medical medicines and all of that. So I would have to bring everything down. I'll have to use languages that people who are interested in spiritual matters will understand. So that is one very important thing about collaborating with people to create bestsellers. You don't just write what you feel like writing as a ghostwriter. You write what your client wants you to write. You write in the language of your client, and you write it in a way that people would feel, they would think, and they would see that it is this person whose name is written on this book that actually wrote this book. Remember, you're a ghostwriter, and you need to remain a ghostwriter as long as that project is concerned. Then the third thing here we are talking about is you build a structure. When we talk about building a structure, this might be the longest point. When we talk about building a structure, you need to, before you start writing a book, you need to create the content. You need to make sure that this book has a structure, this book has a format in which it is written. Now, when you start with the content of the book, you also need to make sure that while you are sticking to this content, this book's content, you are not being too rigid. You are not being too strong in a way that maybe this client comes up with an idea later on, and there is no way it can include that idea into a project that is not yet finished. So you need to be flexible. You need to be flexible. Of course, there should be a structure for your book, but then you need to be very flexible in the sense that if I want to write about ghostwriting, okay? I want to write a book about ghostwriting, and I come to tell you about what ghostwriting means. I tell you the types of contracts you get as a ghostwriter. I tell you the kinds of work you can ghostwrite. Then perhaps I've first of all listed these things out, and along the way, I remember that I can also include places where you can get jobs as a ghostwriter. But then this thing is already structured, and you're like, I cannot include that again. No clients will take that. So you need to be very flexible as a ghostwriter so that whenever your client is working with you, they feel free to bring in their ideas until the last word is written and that contract is sealed. I know it may sound difficult, but ghostwriting is not so difficult. It's not so difficult. Whether you're doing fiction or you're doing non-fiction, you're doing article writing, script writing, or even song writing, ghostwriting is not so difficult. There are different forms of ghostwriting. When signing a contract with a client, that is actually supposed to be the last point I'll talk about. I hope I'm not too fast. I hope I'm not too fast. Okay.
Not fast, I got you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So I said, first of all, you hold series of conversations. You need to understand what your client wants to write about. You need to understand the story idea in full. You do not have to miss anything to make sure that you're giving the best work. Then secondly, you need to understand your client's audience, not your own perceived audience, your client's audience. What set of people are this? What set of people is this book directed to? So you need to understand that to create a good work. Then thirdly, you need to build a structure for the book. But then when building a structure for the book, you should not be rigid. You should be flexible, and you should let other ideas come in along the way, especially if you're doing fiction. Especially if you're doing fiction, you might not be able to list out everything that will come up in that story. Perhaps you have all your characters listed out, you have all your plot twists, but then along the way you see that I can actually twist this and bring this up. It should not be a problem to you, because when you're flexible, you'll be able to put those things together. Then the last one I said I was going to be talking about today is the types of contract as a ghostwriter when you're collaborating with a client to get to create a bestseller. There are two kinds of contract. There is one we call the exclusive contract, and there is another one we call the non-exclusive contract. When we talk about the exclusive contract, it means that when you're creating an exclusive contract, you are actually selling every right to that book, to that author. When an author comes to you and you both sign a contract to write a book and create a bestseller, the book needs to be a bestseller. So you should be clear on the kind of contract you are signing into. If it is an exclusive contract, it means that once that deal is done and that client pays you for the work, whether that book becomes the number one best-selling book, it is no longer yours as the writer. It automatically becomes the author's. I know we collaborated, okay? We collaborated in betting this book, but then you should be aware of the contract you're signing. If I, as a ghostwriter, I have a client and I and my client agrees that we are signing an exclusive contract, this means that once I am done writing your book, the copyright belongs to you and every other thing that comes along with the book. You are the original owner of the book. You are the author of the book, and nothing about this book in the future concerns me. If I am to take a part of this book, I need your permission. Okay, your copyright applies to me. Even though I am the writer, the copyright applies to me. I cannot just come and steal your work. It has automatically become your work after the contract is signed. But then there is another one called the non-exclusive contract. And that one is directly opposite to the exclusive contract. The non-exclusive contract means that we are writing this book in a way that we somehow share this book. We share the percentage of this book. As I am the writer of this book, you are the one who brought the idea. You are the author of the book. It will be listed out. But whenever you're selling that book, if it is a soft copy, my name will be included as the writer. You give me the credit that Mercy, I wrote the book for you. If it is not, let's say it is not a book, let's say it is an article, you see my name underneath, Mercy Joseph Oinoye, writer, since it is a non-exclusive contract. Now I own a right to this book, or I own a right to that article to some extent. Not the full right to the book, but there is a percentage of rights that I own to that book because it is a non-exclusive contract. This does not mean that the author will not pay you as the writer of the book, but then you should know that it is nothing compared to the exclusive contract where you are selling everything about that book, even if it is not your own idea. Creating a book with another person's idea is not easy. We must admit that it is not easy. This person brings the idea to you. This person tells you how he wants the book to be, but you are the one who actually create the book. You are the one who is to write everywhere in that book. And it is your choice to either sign an exclusive contract and not have a right, not have a percentage with that book, or you sign a non-exclusive contract and you have some rights to that book. So going over what I've talked about again, old series of conversation, create an understanding audience, then build structure, and also the types of ghostwriting contract that you can sign. I want you to know that ghostwriting is not so complicated like people make it seem. Ghostwriting is actually one of the best way a writer can earn can earn from writing. As a ghostwriter, you earn very much from your writing skill. and you do not need so much special teachings to become a ghostwriter. As long as you're a writer, you already have the knowledge of writing, and you want to pitch your career as a professional ghostwriter. All you need is just a guide in the ghostwriting market. Ghostwriting is broad. As a matter of fact, some Western university they take ghostwriting as a full course. They take ghostwriting as a focus. And when people go to school and say they are studying ghostwriting, you should know that ghostwriting is not a child's play. It is writing. It is entirely writing, but it is writing behind the scene. Okay, so tonight I hope I've been able to lecture you on how to collaborate with people. Many people are out there, they have ideas burning within them, they have experiences that they want to bring out, they have personal stories that they want to write about, but they might choose to write it as a fiction book. It does not matter, but this is their story and they want to bring it out, but they're not writers. You ghostwriter, you are the one who should guide them, who should help them, and who should create that book and bring their dreams to fulfillment. Okay, ghostwriters are we should not be we should not limit our strength. I always tell my students we should not limit our strength. We can do a lot of good in the world today. You see Robert Kiyosaki, the man who wrote Rich Dad and Poor Dad. You see Ben Carson. Ben Carson is a neurosurgeon. Ben Carson is a neurosurgeon, but he has authored books. Robert has authored books. Napoleon Hill's authored books. Now, these people, what if they tell you that they were not the one who wrote their books? Yet you read those books and you seem to connect to the author of that book. It is because there was a ghostwriter behind the scene who did a very good job. And if you must collaborate to create bestsellers like them, you need to open up your mind. You need to open up and make sure that whenever you're working with a person, the person might be inexperienced, but whenever you're working with them, you are actually giving it your best. Your book, a book you wrote for a client can be a bestseller. You cannot tell. A book you wrote for a client can be a bestseller today. You just need to give it your best. There are people with great ideas. Sometimes some people come to me with ideas and I wonder, I'd be like, this idea, where did it come from? Where did it come from? So when you want to go into ghostwriting, you should know that you should be open to different niches. You might want to stick to a niche, but then you should be open to different niches. I ghostwrite fiction and non-fiction books. I write articles sometimes, and then I also write scripts. But when I want to give you my niche specifically, I tell you I am a fiction ghostwriter. Why? Because when it comes to fiction, I do magic. When it comes to fiction, I do magic. Fiction has to do with your imagination and all of that. And then you see people bring ideas that kind of correspond with what you love to do and you're doing great. So I want to urge you that if you are a writer and you are still not sure of where to pitch your writing, try ghostwriting. Ghostwriting is a way of growing your skill to the professional level. It gives you a chance to grow. You do not have to be a professional to be a ghostwriter. Ghostwriting gives you a chance to grow in your writing skill. When I started ghostwriting properly, I was not very good at it. It was just something new to me. I would not say I was very good at writing generally, but I started ghostwriting and today I can write very well. I can ghostwrite without fear and I am making a lot of money from it. Should I tell you the kind of money that people make from ghostwriting? There are different sites where fiction content are being sold Now, I have a particular site where I write for, and then these people pay you in dollars, and they pay you. If you convert it to naira, you're receiving almost seven figures monthly. You're receiving almost seven figures monthly. This ghostwriting, when I come to people, I tell and I talk about ghostwriting, I want to make it look like a chance for you to grow in your skill and also break financial barriers. Ghostwriting is more than what we think of it today. I might not come and teach you everything about ghostwriting. I might not come and teach you ghostwriting the context tonight, but I want you to know that with these few points I've stated on how to collaborate with authors, you should know that ghostwriting is something that can change you for good, that can change you for good. So when you want to, when you, if you're a writer here, maybe you're already a ghostwriter and you're finding it difficult to work with people, to work with clients and create and make books that will become bestsellers. These few points I listed out here are the sure ways for you to start. Make phone calls with your clients. If they come to you, they say, I have an idea. You can start by making phone calls, having this long conversation. You need to make everything flexible. You need to make everything mild and friendly so that this person would open up to you and tell you everything they want in their book. Then again, as after getting the ideas, you also need to understand the target audience. What kind of people need this book? Then you'll be able to write in the language that those people understand. And then you build a structure for the book before you start writing properly. You build a structure, but also create room to welcome new ideas. So with this tonight, I hope I've been able to let you understand what collaborating with authors to create collaborating with authors to make bestsellers can do for you. Ghostwriting for authors. That was our topic today. And I want to know if what I talked about were clear enough, or if you have some questions that you need me to clarify.
Okay, thank you, Mercy. That was a
Okay?
really powerful session. That was a powerful session.
Thank you.
Epic speaking or two. So what stood out for me was you said everybody has a book in them. Like as an individual, if you think
Yes.
you have a book in you, and it's just left for you to either write it or employ the services of a ghostwriter like Mercy. That's perfect. Okay, and
Yeah.
also build a structure. If you want to write a book, you need to build a structure with your ghostwriter. If you want to intend using the services of a ghostwriter, build a very
Yes.
simple and structure that can speak to your audience, right?
Yes.
Okay, we have a question for you. We have a few questions for you, and we hope you answer them. The first question is: what are the benefits and drawbacks of hiring a ghostwriter versus writing the book myself?
Okay. What are the benefits and drawbacks of hiring a ghostwriter versus writing the book myself? So, when I am introducing myself, I say I am a ghostwriter and busy people. I help busy people bet their book. Now, some people have ideas and they are not writers. They need me to write for them. While some people can actually attempt writing, but the benefit of employing the service of a ghostwriter is because they do not have the time to write that book. Okay, that is one of the benefits. The ghostwriter saves you the time to write that book. Then the professional touches of a writer will be seen in the book when you employ the service of a ghostwriter if you are not a writer. Okay, the professional touches would be seen. Then the drawbacks might be that if there was no proper conversation, like I first mentioned, have series of conversation. If there was no proper conversation before the contract began, there might be some things that you as the author wanted to include in your book that you might not have communicated well with your ghostwriter, and the ghostwriter would not come into your head, would not come into your mind to get those things, and you'd be like, this thing is not would have been better if I wrote it myself. Okay, so but there are a lot of benefits to employing the services of a ghostwriter if you are not a writer. If you're not a writer, there are a lot of benefits. Like I have just mentioned, it saves you the time, it saves you the expertise, okay, and it also saves you some racking of brain, There are some point at the point you might get confused if you're not a very professional writer, and that ghostwriter might have just crossed that path with ease and also help you understand what was done on your book. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you, Mercy. But I didn't really get the drawback. Okay, you said the drawback is that it helps you avoid. What? How about the drawbacks? I didn't get it.
The drawback might be that you did not really communicate, because sometimes the communication is the issue. You might not communicate every bit of the idea to the ghostwriter, and at the end of the day, after the contract has been finished, after the contract has been sealed, you find out that there are some points where, if it was you who actually wrote the book yourself, there are some things you might have liked to include in those books, but the ghostwriter, of course, the ghostwriter is not in your mind. So the ghostwriter might not include those things. Might be your personal phrases, might be something that you just want to chip in, or things like that. But those things that might be drawbacks can be corrected if you work closely with your ghostwriter. You don't just give a ghostwriter a book and expect them to write it and send it back to you. Every step, you should be included in every step of that book to avoid those mistakes.
Okay, thank you, Mercy. That was very awesome. If I may add, while hiring a ghostwriter, to the audience, and also Mercy, you can tell me if I'm wrong, you need to always sign an NDA form, a non-disclosure form, so as to protect yourself from anything that might happen in the future, like the ghostwriter coming out to claim your book and all that. So an NDA is needed while hiring a ghostwriter. Isn't that right, Mercy?
It is right. But I also talked about it on my points, the 4 points I talked about. I think the last one touched that. When you are signing a contract, you should be aware of the kind of contract you're signing. If you're signing an exclusive contract, as the writer, you have no right to that book after it is completed, because it is an exclusive contract, and this author pays you everything for the work. Now, everything, including the copyright and every other right that comes along with that book, belongs to the author. That was where I mentioned that maybe in the nearest future, this book becomes the best-selling book, the number one best-selling book. It gets to a height where you begin to wish that you had actually not signed an exclusive contract. You cannot do anything because it was an exclusive contract. But it is when you sign a non-exclusive contract that you and your client need to come to a mutual understanding and share the rights to that book. So you need to understand, first of all, clarify the kind of contract that you are signing to avoid those kind of mistakes in the future, those kind of events in the future.
Okay, thank you very much, Mercy. That was insightful. Okay, do we have more questions from the audience? More questions so we can ask our speaker? Any more questions? Can I see them? Okay, we don't have any more questions, so we'll be moving ahead. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you for that session. We really gained value. Thank you so much. So we'll be going on a short break for now. So stay back, enjoy, and relax. We'll be back in a few minutes.
It's amazing how you love me. It's amazing how you do the things you do for me. Testimonies, oh,
Okay, guys, welcome back from that short break. Okay, guys, in the comments, how have the session been so far? If you've been enjoying the session, can you say go publish nation in the comments? Can you say that? How has the session been? Can I see your comments? Any additions, any subtractions? Can I see them in the comments? So while you're doing that, I'll be introducing our next speaker. I'll be introducing our next speaker in the person of Dorcas Fadele. So she'll be the next speaker for this event, and I'll be reading her bio to you guys. Okay, Dorcas Fadele is a multiple award-winning writer and coach, professional book editor and proofreader, writing and public speaking coach, inspirational Christian writer, transformational and motivational speaker, ghostwriter, transcriber, and personal development advocate and strategist. She's the CEO of Unique Penners and Creatives Academy, an academy that has bred so many unique writers and exceptional creatives who are now authorities in their respective areas of relevance. She's fondly called the Flawless Book Editor, a name she earned for consistently helping authors birth flawless, powerful, and successful books. She writes and speaks to inspire and motivate people to discover their identity and purpose so they can fully harness their God given potential and live in an extraordinary life of impact. Wow, that was mighty. Welcome, Dorcas. Welcome, 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 and take the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
All right. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Good day from anywhere you're hearing me from all over the world. I'm Dorcas Fadele, also known as the Flawless Book Editor. Before I proceed tonight, I want to appreciate every one of you for making it here tonight. For being here tonight, I am viewing this conference at this moment. It shows that you value your personal development, and for that, I celebrate and appreciate you all. I also want to use this medium to appreciate the convener of this great conference, Ma'am Oluwaborisho Yele, for the great work she's doing in the publishing industry and for organizing an impactful conference of this magnitude. I celebrate you. I pray God will continue to increase you on all sides. In Jesus' name. I also appreciate our powerful moderator. You've been doing a great work since. I appreciate you and I celebrate you, Ma'am Chidema. God bless you. So tonight, I'm going to be speaking on a topic I really enjoy because it's my area of expertise and it's an area I love speaking and impacting lives on, which has to do with a professional editing. So tonight I'll be speaking on the topic understanding the process of editing and building a successful editing career. Understanding the process of editing and building a successful editing career. I have a lot of things I'm going to be speaking on as regards the topic. I'm going to be speaking about what editing is, what self-editing is, who is a book editor, the processes involved in book editing, the qualities of a book editor, the do's and don'ts of self-editing, understanding of freelancing as a book editor, how to start your freelancing business, and how to structure a profitable business as a book editor. So we have a lot of things to cover, and I trust the greatest teacher to be able to the topic properly. To start with, I'm going to be talking about the process of editing. So from the word the process, for anything to has a process, it means that that thing is in stages. So editing, as we all know, involves some stages or some levels. Before a book can become professionally edited and admirable, it has gone through some processes, and these are the processes I'm going to be explaining to you now. For any worthwhile thing to be given back to, for any great and awesome thing to be birthed, it has to go through a process. A process is involved. Just like before a newborn baby is birthed, there are some processes that are involved before a new baby is born. It starts from the conception to the fertilization stage, to the fetal development stage, and stages the pregnant woman is going to pass before eventually delivering the baby. The same thing with professional editing. Before a written content or a manuscript becomes professionally edited, it has gone through some stages that makes it possible. And all these processes of editing are interrelated or interconnected. And any breakage in this process or this editing link or this editing process link will affect the overall result of the editing work. I'm going to take that again. All the processes of editing are interconnected and are interrelated, and any breakage in those links can result into a poor edited work, or it can impact the entire editing process. It can affect it negatively. So what are the different processes or the different book editing? The first thing has to do with writing a manuscript. Before we have a book we are going to edit, it means that there is a manuscript or a content that has been written. So a content, there must be a written content before we even consider editing or proofreading the content or the manuscript. So after we have a structured written piece, then the next stage is to undergo what I call manuscript assessment or manuscript evaluation or manuscript critique. This is where the writer or the author submits the written work to a professional to go through and assess the manuscript, to assess the overall design of the written work, to know the type of editing the manuscript needs, to know how much is going to be sure of the niche the book is written on, and communicating the feedback to the author. So the first process of the first stage of the editing process, or the first process that is involved in editing a book or editing a written piece, is manuscript assessment or manuscript evaluation or manuscript critique. This is where, when the author go through the written work to assess it, to know the type of written content that has been produced by the writer, to know the type of editing it requires, to know the niche the book is written on, to know the type of work that the editing requires, and communicating the feedback to the author. So after the feedback has been communicated to the author as regards the result of the assessment, the next stage is for the editor to also communicate all the things that are going to be needed before proceeding with the real editing. And these other things I'm talking about has to do with the editor communicating the editing fee, sending the editing contract document to the author, talking about the duration of the editing, the time frame is going to take for the edited work to be ready, when the edited work is going to be delivered, and talking about the next stage after professional editing. So after the editor has communicated this to the writer, and that stage has been resolved, and it has been well taken care of, the next stage is now to begin the real editing process. So the first stage in the real editing process is what I call developmental editing. That is the first stage in the real editing process. So developmental editing is what I also call the big picture editing. So no great editing without developmental editing. This is where the editor checks the overall structure of the written content or the manuscript to ensure that the manuscript is in good state, to ensure that the manuscript is well structured, the idea of the author is well structured, it is well arranged, and it is well communicated. This is a big picture editing to ensure that each chapter is flowing along with each other correctly, and every of the chapters are making sense. So the next process in the real editing process is what I call line editing. The line editing is the stage where the editor checks for the tone and the style with which the writer used to communicate the message in the manuscript. I've talked about the developmental editing, that is the big picture editing, where the editor checks the overall structure or the overall content to ensure that it is meaningful and it is in the right stage. So the editor tries to work on the overall structure of the manuscript without altering the writer's tone, style, and voice. While the next stage, which is line editing, is where the editor works on checks the tone, the style, and the voice of the writer to ensure that the message of the writer is communicated rightly, using the right tone, using the right style, and using the right voice that the intended audience will be able to understand. The next stage is what I call the copy editing stage. This is where the editor checks for the punctuation errors, the spelling errors, the grammar errors, to ensure that there are no errors in the manuscript, there are no spelling errors, the content is well punctuated, all the words are written correctly. So this is the copy editing stage. So the next stage after the copy editing stage is the proofreading stage. This is what we call the final process of editing. This is where the editor checks for all the minor errors that might still remain in the edited work that was maybe that was not catch, that the editor does not catch during the previous stages I've talked about. All the minor, they might be, all the errors might be minute, but if they are not removed, it can still affect the overall outcome of the book project. So the proofreading stage is the last stage, and it's also a very critical and important stage in the process of in a book project stage. So this is where the editor check for any little typos that might still remain in the edited work, and this is done by the editor going through the work from start again to finish. At this proofreading stage, the editor do what I call paragraph editing, sentence editing, line editing, and word editing. So this is the final stage of editing, where the editor will check each paragraph to ensure there are no errors, check each sentences to ensure there are no errors, check each lines to ensure there are no errors, and check the word usage, the spellings of each word to ensure that they are error-free. So behind every great book, there's a great editor. There's no great book without a great editor. Behind every successful book, there is a skilled editor. There is no successful book without an excellent or a great editor. So the success of a book project is greatly dependent on the choice of editor that works on the book project and the type of editing that is done on the book project. Also, the impact of an author's message is greatly dependent on the editing of the author's message or the refinement of the author's message. The overall success of whether the message the author is passing through the book will be impactful or not is greatly dependent on the level of editing that is carried out on the author's message or the level of refinement of the author's message. So having talked about what editing is, the different processes of editing, the next thing I'm going to talk about is a book editor. Just like I said, for a process to be carried out, it means that there is someone who is available to carry out that processes. Just like I explained that we have different processes that has to be carried out before a book or a content is published ready. It means that there is someone who is carrying out those processes to ensure that those processes are done and we have a finished or a well-polished manuscript to be published. So an editor is a professional who works on a book project or on a written content to refine it and to improve it to ensure that it is readable and it is flawless. So what are the qualities a good or a professional book editor should have? The first quality a good editor should have is a good writing skill. For you to be a good editor, you must be a good writer. You cannot become an editor without first being a writer. An editor is just an advanced writer. Let me put it that way. An editor is an advanced writer. Editing is an advanced level of writing. So for you to become an excellent book editor, you must first of all be an excellent writer. You cannot give what you don't have because you need a superior knowledge to be able to point out errors, to locate errors in a written piece of content, and to know the right ways to fix those errors to ensure that the written content comes out flawless and powerful. So as a good book editor, you must have a good writing skill. The next skill you should have, the next quality is that you must be a good reader. Because as an editor, you'll be editing books that are written on different subjects. So you need to have have a knowledge about everything. That is why you need to increase your reading level. You need to be a voracious reader. You need to be a consistent reader to be a good editor, because you need to have an outstanding knowledge about the subject you are editing. And as a book editor, is not only a book on just a single subject that you'll be editing. It's not as if you only be editing books on personal development. No, sometimes you'll be editing books on relationships. Sometimes you will edit books on personal development. Sometimes you will get a manuscript that are inspirational manuscript. Sometimes it might be health related books. So that is why you must increase your reading habits and be a good reader if you want to be a good editor. So another quality that you should have as a book editor is that you should have good communication skill. You must know how to communicate with people. You must know how to communicate with your clients. You should know how to communicate, give feedback to your clients about the project you are working on. So good communications skill is very important. So it's an important quality that you should have if you want to become a good and excellent book editor. Another quality you should have is that you should have a strong why. You should have a strong why and you should be passionate. You cannot be a good editor if you're not passionate about editing. If you don't love editing, editing is not child's play. Editing is a serious work. It is a tedious work. It is a mental work. It requires a lot of mental energy. So you must be ready for it. You must enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, you will get tired easily. So you must be passionate about it. You must love it. No, don't just become a book editor because it's one of the popular niches under writing, or one of the areas that people are also making money in the writing and publishing industry. No, have your own personal reason for becoming a book editor. Have passion for it, because when you become a book editor, you face different challenges along the way, but because you are passionate, because you love it, that this will serve as a fuel that will keep you going in the face of challenges and in the face of difficulties. So you must be passionate and you must love editing and have a strong why. Why do you want to become a book editor? For myself, I became a book editor because I love editing. I love writing. I know that I have this innate skill to easily spot errors in a written content. And I've realized this since when I was in secondary school, because I love writing a lot, my friends and my colleagues, when they write their own content, they give it to me to help them go through it, to proofread it for them. And in the process, I will be pointing out the errors in the content to them, like, this place can become better if you can change this word, if you can structure it like this, if you can rewrite it this way. So by that time, I already know that I have the passion, I have the skill, I have the innate talent to be able to spot errors easily and to be able to fix those errors. So when I now eventually became a professional writer in full, I started proofreading for people for free, helping people to fix their content. I will reach out to people, please, if you have any written content, please, I am able to willingly proofread it for you, edit it for you. So because I enjoy doing it, it's like I find my purpose in it. It's something I enjoy doing. I see it as a way to impact life. I see it as a way to help people. I see it as a way to make a written piece better. Because as a person, I dislike a written content that is filled with errors. So it was this dislike that really makes me to want to see every written content I see or I see people post being in a good state or in a flawless state. So you should have a strong why you want to become a book editor. So this is very, very important. So after you have all these qualities, then you also need to have some important skills. There are some important skills that you need to have to become a great and excellent editor. So the first skill you need to have that I'm going to talk about is having attention for details, having attention for details, or having a keen eye to spot errors. Just like I use myself as an example, that I'm someone that if I'm going through a written content now, I can easily spot errors in those written content. So as a good editor, you must have a keen eye for detail. You must have a keen eye to easily spot errors in a written content. So another skill you should have is that I've talked about it, but I'm also going to talk about it, is a quality and it's also a skill. You must have a reading skill, you must have a writing skill, and you must also have a keen eye for detail. So another important skill you need to have as a book editor is that you need to have time management skills. You need to know how to work using the little time you have to deliver the right job or a finished work to your client. You'll be working based on deadlines, and you must be able to meet up with deadlines to submit your client's work on time. So you must have the time management skills. Another important skills that you need to have as a book editor is problem solving skill. You must be able, as an editor, you'll be fixing problems in a manuscript. You will be identifying problems, and you must know how to solve those problems. You will be identifying problems in form of errors, in form of incorrect word usage, incorrect tone, and you must know how to fix those errors. So as an editor, you are a problem solver. You are a problem solver. You are a fixer. So you are fixing a book. You are fixing a written content to ensure that it comes out flawlessly, it comes out powerfully, and it becomes a bestseller. So as a book editor, you are a fixer, and as a book editor, you are a problem solver. So you need to have a problem solving skill. You also need to have a critical thinking skills. When you identify a problem in a written piece of content or in a written manuscript, you must be able to think critically and offer a solution that is going to fix that problem in that manuscript. So you must have a critical thinking skill, and you must have a problem solving skill. You also need to have a research skill. A good book editor must be a good researcher, because you cannot improve the quality of a written content if you're not vast or well knowledgeable on that written content. So this can also be linked to the skill of reading that I talked about, that as a book editor, you must be a voracious reader. So when you read, in the process of reading, you carry out research. When you read, when you watch videos, when you listen to podcasts, it expands your knowledge on different subject matter. So when you are editing a book on a subject, now you need to know more about subject you are editing on, so that when you encounter a problem on that subject matter, or that area you are working on, you will know the right solution or the right way to be able to fix that problem. So as a good book editor, you must have a good problem solving skill, you must have a good critical thinking skill, and you must have you must be a good researcher, have a research skill. Another skill you need to have is adaptability skill. When you sometimes you encounter difficult problems, you will encounter difficult manuscripts, you must be able to adapt quickly to be able to provide solutions to those manuscripts, and you must be able to adapt to different niches of manuscripts that you'll be exposed to, or different genre you're going to be exposed to and be editing. Just like I said, you'll be editing on different subject matter. So you must not have a fixed mindset like this is the only area I can edit on. You must be flexible, you must be adaptable, you must be able to quickly adapt to ensure that you are able to offer the right solution to the author, to ensure that their written piece comes out great and excellent. So you must have integrity. You must have integrity as a book editor. You must maintain integrity with your client. There was a time that I sent an invoice to my client, which contains the payments the author is going to make as regards the book editing. But in the process of payment, the author sent more than the required amount. So when I noticed that, I quickly notified the author and made him know that he made an extra payment, like the amount he sent to me is more than what is in his invoice. So he appreciated the fact that I'm genuine, I am trustworthy, I'm a straightforward person, and in the process he said I should leave the money, I should not send the money back. So as a book editor, sometimes your client might send you more than the amount that is required just to test you. Some might send it as a mistake. So you must have good integrity as a good book editor. This is going to really help you in your book editing process. You also need to have patience. Just like I said, you encounter difficult clients in the process of editing. So you need to be patient. You need to know how to interact with your clients. Even if they are proving difficult, you need to maintain, just like the popular slang that is going on presently, like you need to maintain your steeze and composure to ensure that you're able to relate with them no matter how difficult they are. And you also need to be patient, because just like I said, editing is not beans. Editing no be beans. It's a serious work. It's going to require a lot of time. It's going to require a lot of mental work. It's going to require a lot of things. So you need to be if you're someone that you're always on the move, your body is not really that stable, you're always on the move person, you cannot be a good editor. So a good editor needs to be calm and patient, because editing requires a high level of time if you really want to come up with a good job and a good edited piece. So you need to be patient. So another skills I'm going to talk about is that you must have empathy. You must be able to put yourself in your client's shoes. You must not edit their manuscript as if it's your own. You must not alter the idea of your client, of the author, and now turn the book to your own. So you are not in the process to alter the message of the manuscript you are editing. You are only to improve the quality of the manuscript, or improve or enhance the message of the author. You are not to change the author's message to your own. So that is why it is important for you to have an empathy as a book editor. Put yourself in the author's shoes and edit their books as if you're editing your own book. What are the things you will do if you're editing your own book? That is the way you should also handle your own client project too. Don't edit their book and now turn their book to your own. No, you are improve their message, not that you are altering their message or canceling their ideas. So you need to take note of this. And you also need to have what I call curiosity, a continuous effort, or having a continuous approach to want to know more about what is happening in the editing industry, in your niche, in your area of expertise. You want to know more about what you're doing. You want to know more about your profession. You want to know more about what is happening around you. This will help to keep you updated. This will help you to stay on track as a book editor, and to ensure that you are well informed in your editing job. So you also need to have a technical skill. So the technical skill I'm talking about is that you need to know how to use different tools to be able to carry out your editing work. So having a good knowledge, or good proficiency in the use of equipment that are going to aid your editing work is going to help you in your book editing business, or to help you to achieve a success as a book editor. So you need to, like, for example, now you need to know how to use a laptop to edit a book. You need to know how to use a smartphone. You need to know how to use different editing tool and software. These things might look simple, like Shay, I don't know how to use a phone before, I don't know how to know. When it comes to editing, there's a way you're going to edit when you're using a laptop. There's a way you're going to edit when you're using a phone. So you need to know the technicalities surrounding each instrument you're using for the editing work. So you need to also have a vast knowledge of the different editing tools and software, like how to use Google Docs, how to use Microsoft Word, how to use apps that are going to aid your editing work, like Grammarly, like Quillbox, like Hemingway app. You need to know how to use the different editing software, have technical skills. You also need to know how to use different platforms to showcase your editing skill, know how to use different social media platforms. These are part of the technical skills that you need to have as a book editor. So I'm going to move now to talk about self-editing. So I've talked about editing in general. I've talked about who a book editor is, the qualities a book editor should have, the skills a book editor should have. Editing is in two forms. Editing is in two forms. We have the general editing, which I also refer to as the third eye editing. This is the type of editing that is carried out by a professional editor and not by the original writer. And we also have what I call the self-editing, which is a type of editing that is carried out by the original writer of the edited work. I'm going to go through that again. We have two forms of editing. We have the general form of editing, which is carried out by a professional or a third eye editing. And we have self-editing, which is carried out by the original writer of the written content or the written manuscript. So the self-editing aspect is what I want to talk about extensively now. Just like for you to be able to come out with an excellent written content, you also need to have a good self-editing skill. So self-editing cannot replace the general editing or the third eye editing, but it's going to save you a lot if you know how to properly edit your content, either as a writer or as an editor. So this self-editing skill is a very important skill that every writer and every editor and every author should have. The self-editing skill is a must-have skill for every writer and every author, because it comes with a lot of advantages, and I'm going to share some of them with you. So what is self-editing? Self-editing is the process of refining, improving a written content by a professional writer to make the written work more readable and enjoyable to the readers. So self-editing is a type of editing that is carried out by the original writer of the written content. Self-editing is the process of editing your own work yourself first. So it's like the first level of editing. So when we are talking about the different aspects of editing, it's like the first level of editing is the type of editing that is carried out by the original writer. So That is what self-editing is. So we also have the do's and don'ts of self-editing, the things you need to know when you want to carry out proper self-editing. And I'm also going to talk about the benefits of self-editing. So I've talked about what self-editing is. So what are the benefits of self-editing? When you don't understand the benefits of something, you might not take it very seriously. Just like the popular quote by Dr. Miles Monroe, that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. When the purpose of something is not known, or when the benefit of something is not known, you will not give it your best or try that thing out. The same thing with self-editing. If you don't know the importance of self-editing, you will not take it seriously, and you will not improve your self-editing skill. So editing is going to improve the quality of your written work. It's going to improve the quality of your written work. Millions of content are being churned out online daily. Millions of written contents are churned out online daily. So what is going to make your own written content to stand out? It's when it is error-free. It is when it is enjoyable to read. And what is going to make it enjoyable to read? It is when it is properly self-edited. So self-editing is going to improve the quality of your written work, and it's going to make it stand out among millions of content. Self-editing is going to improve your confidence as a writer. Imagine when you're able to consistently publish a content that is error-free. It is going to improve, it is going to rub on your self-esteem. It's going to increase your confidence. You have more confidence in your writing skill. You'll be like, you are sure that your content, whenever you publish it, because you've said that self-edited it properly, it's going to, your audience are going to enjoy it, and they're going to grab your message easily. So the goal of self-editing is to ensure that your written content projects you as a professional, and your intended message is being gotten by your readers or your audience. So that is the main goal of self-editing, to ensure that your written content projects you rightly as a professional, and that your intended message is gotten rightly by your audience or your readers. If you create a written content and your audience are finding it difficult to understand, then all the efforts are in vain. So that is why you need to take self-editing seriously, either as a writer or as an author. So the benefit of self-editing to the author is the fact that is that it's going to save you time, and it's going to save you money. Time, and it's going to save you money. Imagine if you finish writing your manuscript now, to carry out self-editing by ensuring that you remove all the grammar errors, spelling errors, punctuation error. You work on the overall structure of your book to ensure that it flows meaningfully and it is enjoyable to read. When you send it to the third party, which is a professional editor, to work on, the professional editor will spend little or no time to complete that edited work professionally. When you send your good form, it will be easier for the editor to change your good manuscript to a great manuscript. I'm going to repeat that again. It's easier for a professional editor to take a good manuscript to great. And if you send your manuscript to a book editor in a great form, then it will be easier for the editor to take the manuscript from the great form it is to an excellent form. So we have different forms that your manuscripts can come, that your manuscripts can attain. So your manuscript can be poor, it can be moderate, it can be good, it can be great, and it can be excellent. I'm going to repeat that again. Your manuscript, your written work, or your written content can be poor, it can be moderate, it can be good, it can be great, and it can be excellent. So if you send a poor manuscript, poor edited, poor written manuscript to an editor, the editor is going to do a lot of work. And after all the editor has done, the major thing the editor will be able to do is to take the manuscript from that poor stage to moderate or average stage, because there's no way how good you are as a book editor. If you receive a poorly edited and poorly written manuscript, you will toil to be able to refine or polish that manuscript into a moderate stage. And if you're keen on producing an excellent work, it means that you are going to do the work of a ghostwriter. This is what I've experienced in the past when I've not yet acquired detailed knowledge about editing. I remember that when I first started, I don't really know the stages involved in the process of editing a book. Just like I'm sharing it with you now, I don't have the detailed knowledge of those processes. I just have the skill of editing. I don't know that it's having a skill of editing or having a talent of editing is not what is going to make you to become a profitable editor. So when a client sends their manuscript to me, I don't know that I'm supposed to critique it or assess it. I've just started editing. So because I don't know the processes that I'm supposed to go through before I start editing a process, that time a client sent a poorly written and poorly self-edited manuscript to me. It was a serious war for me to be able to really transform that manuscript. And because I'm someone who is passionate about doing an excellent and quality work for my clients, even though I have a limited knowledge at that time, I'm very passionate about quality and excellence. So I have to communicate to the writer that the state of manuscript is not really that great, and the book cannot really, there's no matter of work I did on it, that the manuscript needs to be rewritten. So I have to do the work of a ghostwriter, even though I got paid only for book editing. So I have to I have to rewrite the book again afresh. So it took me a lot of stress, it took me a lot of work. So if you submitted a poorly written or you accept a poorly written manuscript for a client, you're going to do a lot of work even before you are able to take it to the moderate stage. But if you are, as a writer or as an author, if you're able to properly self-edit your content, write your content meaningfully, structure it well before sending it to an author is already in a good stage, it will be easier for the book editor or the professional book editor to transform that your good manuscript to a great book. And the editor, and if you submit your manuscript in a great stage, or in a great state, the professional editor will take it from that great to excellent. So that is why you need to know that it is important to properly self-edit your written content before you send it to an editor. Also, because the work the professional editor will do on your manuscript has been reduced, it's going to reduce your cost, because as professional editors we charge based on the different types of editing that your manuscript requires, just like I explained in the editing process when I started. So if your manuscript, if in the process of self-editing your content, you've handled developmental editing, you've handled line editing, you know that you're not going to pay for that levels of editing again. So it will reduce your cost, it will reduce the time. So if an editor is supposed to turn your edited manuscript within 10 days, because your manuscript is already in a good state, it's going to reduce the time the editor is going to use to take your manuscript to the refined stage or to the polished stage. So having said that, you can see that self-editing has a lot of benefits and it has a lot of advantages. Just like I said, self-editing is going to improve your confidence. It will help you to give yourself a personalized feedback about your written work. So it's going to increase the readability content. When your content is properly self-edited or your manuscript is properly self-edited, when you publish it, your readers will enjoy it. They will have a great reading experience. The message you're trying to pass to them, it will be easily grabbed by them. Your message will be clearer. It will boost your own confidence. It will increase your visibility it will increase your brand perception. Imagine building a brand and all the content you're using to market your brand online are always filled with errors. It's going to send a wrong signal to your audience or your potential client. As a business owner, you need you need the knowledge of self-editing. As a creative, either you're a graphics designer, you're a spoken word artist, you're a script writer, you need the knowledge of self-editing. You are a video creator, because before you video your script, you need to write it down. Before you voice your podcast, you need to write it down, and you need to edit them before you voice them. So you can see that the knowledge of self-editing is very, very important to everyone in this 21st century. Either you're working in a company, you run your own business, you will need to project or promote yourself using written content, and your written content needs to be properly edited. That is why I said it's going to increase your brand perception. When your content are always top notch, they are meaningful, your messages are easily grabbed, it's going to increase your brand perception. It's going to increase your visibility, because when you create a meaningful content, people will love to read it. And the more people that reads it or sees it, the more people that will comment under your post. And the more comment, the more the algorithm will push it more to more people to see it. And with that, your engagement will increase, your visibility will increase. So self-editing is very, very important. So those are the major benefits of self-editing. So what are the do's and don'ts of self-editing? So I'm going to start by the do's of editing. What are the things you need to do if you want to get your written content properly edited, either your social media content, your blog post, your manuscript? What are the things you need to do for you to be able to carry out a thorough self-editing? The first thing is that you must not edit your content while writing. You must finish writing your content before you start editing. So that is the first thing you need to do. You must first finish your written content before you start editing. This is a lot of mistake I see a lot of people make, and that will not self-editing your content while you are writing will not give you a good result at the end of the day. So this is one mistake I see a lot of creatives, a lot of writers make. When as they receive the ideas they want to create content on and they are writing it, they are also trying to fix the errors. No, it will impair your creative, it will limit your creative flow when you're trying to edit your content while you're writing. So try to write everything, try to write down your ideas in its raw form, finish the writing process before you start to edit your content. Also, the next thing you need to do if you want to achieve success with your self-editing process is that you should not start editing immediately you finish writing. You know, I talked about the fact that you should not edit while writing. The next thing is that you should not start editing immediately you finish writing. You should take a break after writing, because taking a break after writing and you come back to now start editing after the break will give you the ability to be able to see your content in a fresh light. It's going to make your content new to you. Some things that you might not be able to see when you start editing immediately you finish writing, you'll be able to see it because you've left the content for a while. So it's going to you're going to be self-editing the content in a fresh perspective. Your brain would have settled, your energy would have been regained and reboosted. So you need to edit after you finish writing and you have taken a little break. So this is something that I do a lot and I enjoy. Even when I'm working on a manuscript as a book editor, I take breaks in between. I don't try to start an editing project and finish it at a go. I try to take breaks in between to allow my brain to rest, to gain fresh perspective. And when I come back, I receive new perspective to be able to refine the manuscript I'm working on, improve it excellently and brilliantly. So take a break. Don't start self-editing after writing. Don't be afraid to use a dictionary. Always use a dictionary. A dictionary is a compendium of words that is going to tell you the meaning of each word, how you can use it in a sentence. So always if you are not sure about something or a word, you don't grab the way it is used, the correct way it is used in your content. You can check it out in using a dictionary, either a physical dictionary or a downloaded dictionary on your phone, just to be sure of the spelling or the meaning of the words, or anything you are not sure about. So when you're self-editing, make dictionary your friend. So it will also help you in fact checking. Just like I said, when you're not sure about something, check it out in a dictionary. This is something I do as a professional editor a lot. I don't just assume something. There's sometimes you might think that a word means something, and you will not know that it means an entire thing, or the way it is being used in that context is not really right. So you should not be afraid to pause a bit and check the dictionary to ensure that everything, you're well clear about anything you're not clear about. So you should also use tools when you're self-editing. So technology has made a lot of things easier for us. We have different writing tools, we have different self-editing tools, just like Grammarly. You can use Grammarly to self-edit your content. You can use Quickbox to self-edit your content. With Quickbox, you can check for grammar errors and fix them, punctuation errors, spelling errors. You can also check for if a content, you can check for another thing you can use Quickbox to do is that you can use Quickbox to check the originality of your work or the authenticity of your work. If there are some words that you use in your content that has been used before by most authors, you can use Quickbox to check it and to fix it. So you can use grammar checker. So writing apps like Google Documents, like Microsoft Word comes with a free grammar checker. So but the only thing is that you must not depend on these editing tools. So that is why they are called AI tools. They are artificial intelligence tools. They are not human intelligent tools. So you cannot still compare them to the natural editing you're going to do on your written content. So even after using AI editing tools or software to edit your content, you should also use your own manual editing skill to still re-edit your content alone, because these tools are not 100% dependable. It is not all errors they can fix. It is not all errors they can pick. That is why they are computer based. It is not 100% dependable. So you must not rely on them, but you can use them to ease your self-editing process. But even after using them, still proofread your work, still edit it again manually to ensure that all the errors have been fixed. Just like I said, they cannot pick all errors, just like Grammarly cannot pick sentence structure errors. So that is why you need to know that even though you can use them, you cannot rely on them. You should also, while self-editing your content, it is important to work on consistency. Ensure that the tone and the style and the voice you have used or the writer have used in communicating the message is maintained throughout the entire editing process. So you should also seek feedback when you are finished editing your content or editing a manuscript. You should try to give it to a trusted person to also help you go through it, like a third eye. So this is basically needed for self-editing. So if you're a professional editor and you've acquired the right skill of editing, you might not need to be giving, after you've done your own work as a professional editor, you might not need to give it to a third eye again. But even if you have some people you still work with, if you work as a team of editors, after finish your own level of editing, you can send it to another skilled editor to still do another round of editing, just to ensure that the work comes out well polished and well refined. So the same thing, even if it's a social media content or a blog post, after a self-editing it properly, still give it to a trusted person like your friend, a coach, or a mentor to help you go through it and give you a constructive feedback on it. So it is always to also write in in active voice and not write in active voice. So this is a very important do's of self-editing. So when you are writing, ensure that you write using an active voice, and when you are self-editing, edit using an active voice. So an active voice will make your message to be direct and concise, and it will make your content not to be unnecessarily wordy. So it will maintain the conciseness of your message. For example, now, an example of a passive voice is something like when you want to write a sentence like the book, you want to say that maybe Dorcas Fadele launched a new book. Instead of you writing Dorcas Fadele launched a new book, you wrote it as a new book was launched by Dorcas Fadele. When you make use of the use of words too much in your sentence, it means that you're writing using passive voice and you're not writing using active voice. So to ensure the effectiveness of your self-editing or the effectiveness of your message or written content, always write using an active voice. So I've talked about the do's of editing. Now I'm going to self-editing. I'm going to talk about the don'ts of self-editing. What are the things you must not do if you want to properly self-edit your content? So the first don't of self-editing is that you must not, just like I said, you must not self-edit your content while writing. You must finish writing your content before you start editing. The second is that you must not self-edit your content at a go. Starting editing now and trying to finish it at the same time. You must not do that. You must try to self-edit your content after taking a break when you finish writing. So don't rush the self-editing process. Just like I said at the beginning, editing is not a child's play. It's a very serious work. It needs a total concentration. It needs a lot of energy. It needs a lot of mental alertness. So you must not try to rush the process, because it's a process that involves a lot of time. So you need to be careful and you need to devote time when you are editing a written content. Don't start self-editing when you know that you are in a hurry or you will not have the time to go through the written content properly. Even a written content that is properly edited, if you are not careful, you will still see that some errors, you are still not able to pick them. So that is why I suggested that even after carrying out thorough editing, you still need to proofread your content like 2 or 3 times before publishing it or before posting it online. So you must not self-edit in a rush. Don't ignore grammar and style. That is another don't of self-editing that I want to talk about. Don't ignore grammar and style. So we have different grammar and style formats. As regards professional editing, we have the APA style guide, we have the MLA style guide, we have the Chicago style guide. So you must have a detailed knowledge of the different style guides and the different knowledge of the types of languages or English. For example, now, when you start editing a written content using an American English, you cannot switch at the middle to a British English. So if an author has written a written content using an American English, you must edit it using an American English. And if a written content is written using a British English, you edit it using British English. Or you need to ask the editor before you begin or embark on the editing process, to ask them of the editing language or the voice or style with which they want you to edit the work. Do they want you to use American English, or they want you to use British English? Because you cannot mix both in a single piece of content. So if you're using American English, you need to maintain it from start to finish. And if you're using British English, you need to maintain it from start to finish. So don't ignore grammar and style usage while self-editing your content. So you must have a proficient knowledge on style guide. You must have a proficient knowledge on language. You must have a proficient knowledge on punctuation marks. You must have a proficient knowledge on spellings. You must have a proficient knowledge on English grammar. So for you to be a good book editor, or for you to be a good self-editor, you must have a good knowledge of English grammar. It has to do with your spellings, your punctuation marks, your grammar usage, your tenses usage, your subject-verb agreements. You need to have a detailed knowledge of these things. So for you to be a proficient self-editor or a proficient professional book editor, you need to improve your English grammar skills. Improve your English grammar skills. Have a proficiency in English language and English grammar. So having talked about that, I'm going to quickly, because of time, I'm going to quickly talk about how to build a successful freelancing business as a book editor. What is freelance editing, or what is freelancing as regards book editing? Freelancing is the process of working, being your own boss, working directly for yourself as a book editor. You are not working for another person, you're not working for another company, you're working directly for yourself from the comfort of your own home. You have the liberty to be able to acquire your clients on your own, to offer your editing skills on your own, and to be able to make money from your editing skill. So freelancing is the process of acquiring skills on your own and working using your skills of editing to make money on your own. So it is different from working with an organization or working with an agency. So it's like an independent editor. So a freelancer or a freelance editor is like an independent editor. You're working directly for yourself and you're working from the comfort of your home. So how can you build a professional freelancing business as an editor? So that is the thing I'm going to be talking about now. So, and I'm going to be talking about the major requirements that you need to have to be able to structure a profitable editing business. What I'm trying to say is that when we are talking about building a freelancing or a successful freelancing business, it's like building a successful or a profitable editing business, because you are the owner of the business. You are offering your skill by yourself. You are not under anyone. So what are the major requirements to build a successful editing business? So that is what I'm going to be talking about now. The first requirement is that you need to have a passion. You need to have a strong why. Why do you want to become an editor? Why do you want to be offering an editing as a skill? Just like I said, you should not become a book editor because other people are also editors, or most of your friends are editors, or because they said there's money in book editing. No, you must have a personal reason for becoming a book editor. Just like I share my own story with you when I started, you must have a strong why. Another thing is that you must invest in skill development. Get trained as a professional book editor. Get trained in the skill of book editing. So you cannot say because you know how to self-edit now that you are qualified to become a professional book editor. Just like I said, professional editing, self-editing cannot replace professional book editing. So, but professional book editing is is an advanced skill on its own, because you are not just editing your own written content, you are editing for another person and getting paid for it. So you need to have a detailed knowledge of the skill. So having said that, I'm going to share a little story with you. When I started, why it is important to get your skill refined, get trained in the professional aspect of editing, and getting trained in the business aspect of editing. I started editing professionally for people in September 2022. So when I started, I've not really getting trained as a professional editor. but I volunteer to edit for other people. I've been editing for people for free without getting paid. I know how to edit content to spot errors, but I've not yet taken steps to get trained professionally by a professional coach. So I started editing. But in the process, there was a time I got a client who sent a manuscript of over 50,000 words for me to edit. So, and the client asked me, how much is it going to cost to edit the manuscript? I think I said 15,000. 15,000 to edit a manuscript of over 50,000 words. Over 50,000 words. I said 15,000 because I have not yet gained knowledge on the business side of editing. I don't know there's anything called the business side of editing. I just think that because I have the talent of editing, I can start offering it as a skill. When I started editing the work, then I know that I have shot myself in the leg. I know that it's a serious work. It took me a lot of time, it took me a lot of energy, and I didn't get rewarded for the time, for the knowledge, for everything. So a manuscript that I'm supposed to get paid 5 times the amount that I said is the editing fee, because I have a limited knowledge. So to build a successful editing career, you need to improve your writing and editing skills. You need to get trained as a professional book editor. Talent is not alone. You need to get professional or superior knowledge in book editing to understand the why, the nooks and crannies of the editing business, of the editing, or of becoming a professional editor. So skill development is very, very important. And when I talked about skill development, take courses, take trainings on book editing. So it is in the process that I now discover that it's like I've shortchanged myself.
Hello, Dorcas, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, please, you can start wrapping up your points, please, because of time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So you need to develop your skill. You need to, after developing your skill, you need to build your portfolio. You need a portfolio. A portfolio is what contains the proof of the previous work you have done, the testimonials of your previous clients, your editing experience. After having a portfolio, you need to have a niche, an area you want to specialize on. You cannot be a general editor. You need to have a well-defined niche, an area of specialization. You need to choose a genre. What do you want to be editing? Do you want to be editing fiction or not fiction, or health writing, or health books or that are related, or technical books? So you need to have a well specialized niche and choose a well specialized niche. And after that, you need to have a knowledge of the editing business. So having a knowledge of the editing business is where you're going to learn about how to market your editing skills to acquire clients. You're going to learn about business development, editing contracts, how to acquire clients, how to communicate your editing skills, using content marketing to market your editing skills, and a lot of things. So you have to have a portfolio, choose a writing niche, have an editing contract, have a client acquisition strategy, have a marketing strategy, and all these things are very important to be able to build a successful editing career. And finally, I want you to understand that editing is a very high income digital skill, and professional editor will always be in high demand because every day written content are being produced. So far written content are being produced. There will always be a need for professional editors, and there will be a need for professional proofreader. So for you to be able to venture into professional editing, get trained by taking action, get trained, and to get all the necessary things in place, have a tagline, have a business name, register your business. And once you're able to take action and you have the right perception and the right mindset that you can do it, you'll be able to achieve it. So I'm going to leave you with this popular quote by Napoleon Hill that said, whatever the heart of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. If you believe that you can become a successful book editor, if you believe you can become a successful author, if you believe that you can structure a multi-million editing business, you can do it. Just by start by taking action, and the right time to start is now. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Dorcas. That was really an insightful session, very well detailed and very well explained. So I just have like a question. I You said something about when editors don't when you as as a writer create a work and you don't edit it yourself to be good, your editor cannot make a great manuscript or work for you. So you said the work came to you and you had to, it was really poor, so you had to work on it and became a ghostwriter for that work, and you were paid for an editor work. So did you reach out to the owner of the work for a higher pay, or you use that same pay to do that work? Did you?
Okay, thank you. I talked about it briefly. I have to reach out to the author and give him a feedback about the stage of the manuscript. Just like I said, at that stage, I've not yet gotten enough knowledge about the business of editing or the process involved in editing. So, assuming I've gotten enough knowledge, I would have known that the first thing to do before charging a client for a book editing project is to first of all assess the manuscript, to critique it, to know the type of work it's going to require, or to know the type of editing it's going to require, and this is going to determine the price or editing fee I'm going to communicate to the author. So, but because I don't have enough knowledge at that time, that was why I just I couldn't go through all those important process before I started editing. So I have to go back to the author, and I made him realize that the manuscript is not in a good state. I let him realize why it is not in a good state, and it came to also confirm it to me that he just feel like becoming an author, not as if he has really learned how to write professionally before. So I have to, just because it's like my first client at that time, I have to take it upon myself to rewrite the manuscript again, even though I know that it wasn't easy and have to do the work of a ghostwriter. So that is why it is important to acquire the right knowledge before starting the editing business. It will save you a lot of things.
Okay, thank you so much, Dorcas. Please, do we have questions from the audience? We can ask Miss Dorcas. Okay, we have a question. How can I be sure my editor is a good fit for my book and my writing style? Okay, Dorcas, please, in
Okay.
a few seconds, help us answer that question.
Okay, for you to know that your editor is good, you need to do a background check on the editor. So a good editor should have a good social media presence. So you check for them on social media, you check their past work, you check their portfolio, the proof of the previous work or client they have worked with. Also, in the process of you communicating with them, sending your manuscript to them, the way they are conversing with you, you can easily deduce if the editor is really good, and the editor can really edit your work using your own tone and style without altering your message.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dorcas. That was really insightful and educated. So we're going to move
You're welcome.
on to the next speaker now because of time. Thank you. Because of time, so we'll be introducing the next speaker and I will be reading her bio. Okay, guys, how have the session been since? Are you enjoying the session? Are you gaining value? Are you jotting things down? Are you making notes? Are you going to put these words to works? How has it been? Comment in the comment box so we can see your comments and highlights for you. So our next speaker is technical team. Please can you put it on the screen so we can go ahead? There's no time. while we are waiting, so keep commenting. How's the session been so far? Keep commenting. You can reach out to the speakers via their social media platforms. Lucas Fadele, Messi Ojumoye, and Olubori. Keep commenting, keep commenting. Send me 5 stars. Okay, we have our next speaker's bio here, and I'm going to read it out. Our next speaker is Adeniyi Adekule. Adeniyi is a seasoned social media strategist and Facebook ads manager with a proven track record of success. With a wealth of experience working with both local and international brands, Adeniyi has consistently delivered results by generating thousands of quality leads through strategic Facebook advertising campaigns. Passionate about helping brands maximize their online presence, Adeniyi's mission is to empower businesses to enhance their visibility and profitability in the digital space. He believes in the power of borderless opportunities and the ability to succeed from anywhere in the world, making him a truly global thought leader in digital marketing. Adeniyi brings a unique perspective on leveraging digital media to build brand awareness and drive revenue. His insights and practical tips resonate with audiences looking to harness the full potential of social media advertising. Engaging, informative, and dynamic, Adeniyi is sure to inspire and educate attendees on the latest trends and best practices in the ever evolving world of digital marketing. So, Adeniyi, welcome to the virtual publishing event. You have the stage now, so do your work.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Sorry, hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you very clearly.
All
Please
right. Thank
maximize your
you.
time. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. Very, very grateful. Thank you so much. So I will not take much of your time. I will go straight to I'll go straight to the point. Did you get it? So I'm Adeniyi Adekunle. A social media strategist and a Facebook strategist. Oh, sorry, I had to improvise. I had to be here. I've already given my word I'll be here, so um, I had to improvise. So let me get straight to it. Now, when it comes to book marketing, I was told I have 20 minutes, so and I'll stay within that time. So let's see how far we can do that. So now let's get into it. When it comes to book marketing, you have to understand that the first mistake many people make is that they start marketing their book after they have published it. It shouldn't be, you do understand? Because you have to understand that, especially if you have not yet built an audience. There is difference between somebody that has thousands of followers, that let's say they have over 100,000 followers, they've already built the audience, they have a court of people following them. So, somebody like that can come out, let's say 1 week, and tell the audience, okay, I have a book that is coming up. Um, this is the title of the book, and this is how you can buy it. Did you get it? But if you have not yet done that, if you have not yet built a loyal audience, there is a process to it, and sometimes you have to start telling people even before you start writing the book. Did you understand? You have to take them on the journey. You have to take them on the process of through the process of writing the book. As you are choosing the book cover, in fact, you can even give them snippets of the book before you publish it, because what I see many people do is that they write a book. They'll be like, okay, I'm working in silence, and then I want to come out and wow the people with my book. It doesn't work that way when it comes to book marketing, just like I said, especially if you don't have an audience yet. So you have to take the people you are writing for, you have to take them along. Did you get it? You have to carry them along, while you are choosing in fact, some people, from the point of choosing the title of the book, they would have carried their audience along, that, okay, this is what I'm doing now. I want to write a book on this topic. I want to write a book on this topic. There are some people that they will even put out a poll. Did you get it? That, okay, let's say you want to you want to read a book on let's say childbirth, or you want to read a book on relationship, what should it be about? Should it be about heartbreak? Should it be about mending broken relationship? Should it be about choosing the right person? Or should it be about how to notice red flag in your partner or something like that? So all those things you need to carry people along. You cannot just come out today and tell them that, okay, I have a book, come and buy, and you expect people to start rushing. No, it doesn't work that way, because it's a journey. You have to take people along. You have, in fact, even those people that have built an audience, some of them 6 months, a year before they release a book, they will have started talking about it. Okay, I'm writing a book on this. I think I'll choose this topic. Some of them will tell you that, okay, July next year, I'm going to release a book titled this. Did you understand? So, book when it comes to marketing your book, it's not something you just come out today. Some people, like, just like I said, there are some people say I'm working in silence, and then I'm going to wow people with the topic of my. You may be surprised that nobody will even buy the book. Did you get it? Because you cannot dump a book on people. People want to be part of the process. They want to be part of your journey. When you take them through the process, it makes them feel along. Did you get it? There is this book by this person, this John Maxwell. In fact, as he was writing the book, he was telling people, okay, I'm now in chapter 6. I'm writing on this particular topic. What do you think I should write? What do you think I should include? What do you want me to add to the book? So when it comes to marketing of your book, it's a journey. Carry people along. Did you get it? Carry your target audience along. Carry the people that you want them to buy from you. Carry them along. Don't just come out today and tell people that I have written this book and I want you to buy. No, it doesn't work that way. Did you understand? So now, what are the things you can do while you are writing the book? When you're writing the book, you can let's say create a wait list. Did you understand? Create a wait list. Or you can do a series of posts. There are some people that will do 45 days countdown to the release of their book. There are some people that will do 60 days. There are some people that will do 90 days. Depending on, there's somebody I respect very well in this field, that when she was launching her first book, she did 90 days. 3 months every day she was posting about the book. That, okay, I'm writing a book on this. I'm writing a book on this. This is what the book, she did 90 days. Did you understand? So it's about carrying people along. It's about making them part of the journey, because people will not buy from a brand they don't know. Did you get it? And you cannot just keep people in the dark and then you come out with a book now and you expect them to buy. Did you understand? So all those things, it's very, 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 very important. There is somebody that has spoken here today, Temidayo, Ogunleye Temidayo. When she was writing her first book, it's a collection of poetry. In fact, during our own time, we did vest at that time, just to market it. She took pictures. She did, she sent the vest to our friends. Everybody wore the vest. We took pictures and every other thing like that to promote the book. Did you get it? So because except you are giving out book to build an audience, let's say you are giving out your book for free to build an audience, that's why you can say that. Even as at that, let me just give you this illustration. Let's say you are just walking by the roadside now and somebody comes and give you money, or somebody comes and give you gifts. Collecting gift from a stranger is different from collecting gift from somebody you don't know. Did you understand? Collecting gift from a stranger is different from collecting gift from somebody you know very well. So there are two different things. Even if you want to give out your book for free, it doesn't mean you won't market it. You will still market it. You still do the publicity, because people don't buy from a brand they don't know. People don't buy a product they don't know. Did you understand? So, and that's where many authors struggle a lot. And although there are many mistakes people make, but the most common one is that trying to market the book after it has been published. Did you get it? It's going to take a long process. You might not see the results you are waiting for, and that's why and that's why I talked about creating a wait list. Did you get it? So if there is anything I want you to take from this talk tonight, it's don't start marketing your book after you published it. make it a process. Did you understand? Especially if you don't have the kind of attention yet, if you have not built that audience yet, make sure you carry people along the journey. Did you understand? Make sure you carry people along. Okay, I'm writing this book, I'm publishing this book now. You just like I said, you can go on a long see. Let's say there's some people that do 30 days, there's people that do 60 days, there's people that do 90 days. Like every day, talk about it. You can go live. Did you understand? You can go live, you can, create a lot of awareness. That's the first thing. Just in marketing, there is this either principle in marketing: attention, interest, desire, then purchase. Did you understand? Make sure, in fact, you can have a Telegram group, you can have a WhatsApp group, the one that suits you better. You can have a Telegram group, you can have a WhatsApp group that you put people in. Did you understand? Just create a lot of awareness, because that's where it starts from. People need to know about what you've written about. People need to know about the content of the book. You don't have to put out everything. You can put out snippets. If you have read this book, How to Sell to Nigerians by Akin Alabi, when he wanted to sell the book, I think he released the first 3 chapters. Did you get it? He released the first 3 chapters as PDF, and after that, when people saw the value in the book, in the first 3 chapters, a lot of people went for the complete book. Did you understand? So there are different marketing principles that you can use, but of all, the most important is that create awareness. Let people know about your book. Don't just say that, okay, I'm working in silence, I want to wow people. It doesn't always work that way. Did you understand? It doesn't always work that way. You have to ensure that you are creating awareness. Did you understand? As you are writing the book, let people know. And even when you are writing the book, you can create souvenirs around it, just to create attention, especially if you want to sell the book. And also, don't forget wait list. Very, very important. Don't forget wait list. Very, very important. So there are many ways by which you can create awareness for your book. But one thing is that before everything, you need to sit down. Okay, what is this book about, and who are the people that need it? Did you get it? Whatever you want to write about, your book must have a target audience. In marketing, we say that a product for everybody is a product for nobody. Did you understand? We say that a product for everybody is a product for nobody. So before you even start marketing, the first thing you need to clarify is that who are the people that need this book? Did you get it? Who are the people that need this book? And then the next question you need to answer is, where are they? Did you understand? Because it's one thing to recognize to identify the people that needs your book. It's another thing to know where they are. So the first thing is, who are the people that needs this book? The second thing is, where are they? The third thing is, how can I get their attention? How can I get their attention? Don't forget, who are the people that needs this book? Where are they? And how can I get their attention? Because we're in the digital age, and the currency we are spending is attention. If you cannot get attention, you cannot make money. That's just it. You need to learn how to leverage on getting attention. So you now need to look at how, okay, once you've identified the people that needs your book, how can I get their attention? Did you understand? How can I create the awareness to get the attention? Because if you did not get their attention, you cannot sell to them. If you cannot get their attention, you cannot sell to them. So after you've gotten their attention, you now have to break it down. Okay, make your content revolve around the content pillars: information, education, entertainment. Did you get it? Information, education, entertainment. So how can I use these three to increase the publicity of my book? Did you understand? Information, education, those are the three content pillars. So whatever you are now doing, how can you leverage on trends? Not just any trend, but trends that relate to the values of your book. Did you understand? So all those things are very important. You cannot just come out today and tell people that I have a book, come and buy, and expect them to come and buy. Why are they not going to buy? Because people don't buy from a brand they don't know. People don't buy from someone they don't know. Just like I give you just like I gave the example the other time. Even if you give out your book free, If people are not, if people don't know you, if they are not connected to you, there's something we call KLT, know, like, and trust. If they don't know, like, and trust you, even if you give them your book for free, they are not going to appreciate. As in, it will just be like you've wasted your time. So that's why I talked about, another thing you have to now have to look at is that, okay, um I don't want to say how popular am I, but you look at the strength of your audience. How far have you built an audience? There are some people that have email lists. There's some people that have loyal following. Did you get it? So you now have to look at it on your scale, on the scale that, okay, how popular am I? Did you, how do I have an audience? Are my audience ready to buy? Have you prepped them enough to get them to buy the book? You do understand? Because your book won't sell itself. Now you now have to look at who are the people who can I collaborate with to help me increase the awareness around my book. If you have read this book by Russell Brunson, he was talking about his first book, that he wrote down a list of 100 podcasts where he's going to talk about the book on. If people that are going gain that kind of attention, have millions of followers, he's still going around on podcasts talking about his book. So you don't expect your book to sell itself. Did you understand? A book that is not well marketed will not make any sales. Did you understand? And one thing is that, just like people say, a good product will not sell itself. A good book will not sell itself. That your book is valuable, that your book can solve people's problem, doesn't mean that people are going to. It doesn't mean that people are going to buy it. It has to be well marketed before people buy. So all those things you need to put it into place. All those things you need to put it into place. So you now have to break it down. Just like I said the other time, a good book will not sell itself. Another thing you should notice that don't start marketing after you've published your book. You might struggle to sell. Don't start marketing after you struggle. Don't start marketing after you publish your book. You might struggle to sell. Carry people along. Build an audience. Carry people along. Have a wait list. Your wait list can be your email list. It can be on WhatsApp. It can be on Telegram. Your wait list is just to prep people. Just a group of people that are anticipating that you want to release something. Did you understand? And another thing, just like I said, before you start writing your book, you need to answer this question: who are the people that need this book? How can I get their attention? Who are the people that need this book? Where are they? And how can I get their attention? Those things are very, 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 very important. Those things are very, very important. So let me begin to round up here. So because I promise not to take too much of your time, I just want to hit on major things, major critical mistakes that people make while they are marketing their books. Don't forget, the first thing I said, that if you start marketing your book after it has been released, you might struggle. Did you understand? You might struggle. So, and another thing is that create awareness. Start creating awareness even before you release it. You might go on the 90 days, 40 days, 60 days. It depends on the one that works with you and the one that can help you get enough attention. Did you understand? And another thing is that create wait lists. Did you understand? Create wait lists. Let there are people that are anticipating that your book is coming out. Did you understand? So you just like you are in the digital age, you can leverage on your social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, your depending on if you are popular on Twitter. Did you understand? Just put it out there. Create souvenirs. It could be pen, it could be t-shirts, and every other thing. Just create awareness. Did you understand? Create awareness, get attention, and channel that attention where it can be controlled. Do you understand? It's not just about posting 90 days. As you are creating the attention, make sure you are channeling the people that are interested to where you can have control over them. Now, let me break down that finally. It means that, let's say you are posting on Facebook now, that, okay, this particular book is coming out. Make sure you have, let's say, a Telegram channel or a WhatsApp channel that you are keeping them. Anybody that is interested, you can just tell them that, okay, wait here for the next 10 days or something like that while before the book come out. Another thing is that as you can give a discount to the people that are joined the wait list. You can tell them that, okay, if you join my wait list, you are going to get the book at 50% discount. Did you understand? So all those things are very, 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 very important. And I hope with the little time I've spoken, I hope I've been able to enlighten you a bit on book marketing. Again, thank you, Miss Oluwabori, for inviting me. I'm so, so grateful. Hello, ma.
Can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Adeni, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I said thank you very much for that insightful session. I added a lot of value, and I know people in the audience did too. So thank you once again. And I picked something. You said information, entertainment, and education. Before you publish your book, you should start selling earlier on before it comes out, because if it comes out, it's going to be a hard thing selling for you just like that. And I want to add, as an intending publisher, I think you should also be a copywriter. Learn how to persuade, because if you don't know how to persuade during your countdown, I don't think people will want to anticipate the book. So is that right? Copywriting, at like learning to persuade. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. I can hear you, ma.
Yeah, I said, should I repeat myself?
Yes,
Did you get?
okay. Yes, you talked about copywriting, which is
Yes,
very important
learn
too.
to persuade. Yeah,
Yes, because I only focus on the marketing aspect. You understand? So I did not talk about the content creation and every other thing, because those things are very, very important. So and that's why I talked about the content pillars. You should not just create one kind of content all through the marketing. You need to spice it up. Just like we have different kind of rice, we have jollof rice, we have fried rice, we have coconut rice, we have different kind of same thing. Content now, let's relate content to rice now. As you are preparing it for people, as you are putting it out, if you put out just only one form of content, you are going to bore your audience. Did you understand? Because one thing about content creation is that about copywriting, as you prepare people towards your book, is that don't make your content monotonous. Did you understand? Don't make your content monotonous. Make sure it's you spice it. It comes in different way that people cannot be able to predict. The person that reads your post today will not be able to predict the next one. Did you understand? There should be that unpredictability that you attach to whatever content, whatever copy you are using to promote your book. Did you understand? Because it's very important. You must be able to spice it up, especially if you want to do the long content creation strategy. Let's say you want to post every day now for 30 days. Don't just bring up one kind of post alone. Make sure you spice it up so that anybody that interacts with your content, you know, they'll be interested. Do you understand? So you should not
yeah,
bore your audience while you are trying to give them
yeah,
information.
yeah. Thank you so much, Adeni. Thank you. That was it. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, thank you for your insightful session. If you have questions, drop them in the chat box so we can ask Mr. Adeni. So, Mr. Adeni, we have a question for you. I am not social media inclined. How do I promote my book online? Wow, that's a very great question. So, can you just help us answer that in a few seconds?
Okay, one thing is that um when you have a message, there is a channel through which you pass the message. Did you understand? Let's say the olden days now, before the digital age, if you want to pass a message, the days of, I don't know if some of us remember the days of Super Story, Papa Ajasco, all these soap operas on TV. Did you get it? If you want to reach out to people, then you need to get on those soap operas, because those are what people are looking at. Did you understand? On television, everybody, there was a time that there are some programs on radio that it looks as if everybody in the world was like, okay, let me say everybody in Nigeria or everybody in a particular state, everybody were listening to those programs that time. You understand? Because those are, that's where the attention is. But now in the digital age, the attention is on social media. Did you get it? We have more than 3 billion people on Facebook alone. And it has been said that more than 1 billion people are active on Facebook. Look at the numbers. So if you want to sell your book, just like I said, look at where the attention is. Did you get it? Look at where the attention is. So if you are not social media inclined, and one thing you have to understand is that if you want to play the game, you have to understand the rule of the game. If you want to play football, you have to understand the rule of football. You cannot apply the rule of basketball to football. It's not possible. So if you want to sell your book and it has to be on social media, it means that you need to understand the rule of social media to sell to those people on social media, or you get someone that understands the rule to market it for you. Did you understand?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
that is how it works. We are on social media. We are on social media. We are in the digital age. And if you want to promote anything, you need to leverage on digital channels. And every digital channel has its own rule. You understand? If you want to promote and you want to sell your book on those channels, you either are aligned with the rule of the channel by being social media inclined, or you get someone to do it for you. You understand? So that's how it works. That's what I will say to that question, man.
Thank you so much, Adeni. And let me add, not everybody is social media inclined. So if you don't, if you think you can handle it, we can employ services of people like Adeni here. He's a social media manager, so he can do that for you. So thank you. Do we have another question? Okay, in the absence of questions, we are going to be closing our session now. In here, 3 hours. That's a lot of time. Thank you for staying with us all through. So I'll be inviting the host to give her closing remarks so we can all go back to our respective. Thank you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly, Bori.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh my God, like left to me, I can be here till like 12. And like it's just been so many unfolding, so many insightful stuffs really. And yes, I want to say a big thank you to all our guest speakers who honored our invite to be here today. Thank you for making our time to be here with us. We want to appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Adekule, for giving us your time tonight to be with us. Thank you so very much. I also want to say a big thank you to Miss Dorcas as well as Miss Mercy. And just on the screen right now, you can see there's a flyer here, and also there is a link to get a free ebook from Mr. Dekunle right here. So you can just check the screen. It's going to be displayed on the screen right now, where you can get the free book. Yes, so just go to selar.com .co/cab, selar.co/cab to get your own free copy. And you can also reach out to him as well on Facebook, on Instagram. You can connect with him, and also you can chat him on WhatsApp. His WhatsApp number is scrolling on the screen. Thank you so very much for honoring our invite tonight. And just like he said, the points he mentioned are very valid, because one problem that people have, like I used to say, it's one thing to write your book, it's another thing to know how to sell it. Okay, most people are always very much concerned about how to write the book without thinking too much about how to sell it. And when they end up not selling it, then they become frustrated and discouraged. So that shouldn't be your case. Ensure that you have solid marketing strategy at all before you embark on your writing project. All right, so I'm going to briefly go over the slides I have here just to share on the offers that our speakers have. And for those of us that would also like to connect with them as well, you can want to connect with them on their social media pages and also send them a WhatsApp message as well. Okay, so this is for Miss Dorcas Fadele, the flawless editor. I mean, she shared so much. In fact, she literally came here to pour her mind out for each and every one of us. Whether you're an author, I'm sure you must have gained from her session, or you're planning to become a book editor, you must also have gained from our session as well. So you can always reach out to her. She's on Facebook, she's on Instagram. You can connect with her, and also for any of our offers, you can also check this link right here and also get to connect with her as well. And then here we have this is our phone number, so you can just chat her up on WhatsApp and she responds immediately as well. And then for the second speaker that shared with us on ghostwriting, that's Miss Mercy. Yes, she had to leave us to attend to our students at our free ghostwriting class. So you can always still join the class. I think the class is a recurring class, so she hosts the class at interval. So you do well to join her. And then also to I'm going to share the link to connect with her on WhatsApp. You can connect with her on Facebook and also send her a message on WhatsApp. She will do well to reply, and also um you can also be able to join our class from there as well too. So she does ghostwriting and she's very good at it. And so here is me saying a big thank you to everyone. Also, to last thing before I forget, okay, so also I have a book as well to written on the subject matter of book project management. That's becoming an author. You can also get that particular book via seller. It's available at a very affordable price for you. That's seller.co/BAA, becoming an author. So you can click on that to get yours as well. So you can also connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, on LinkedIn as well, or even send me WhatsApp message, and your concerns will be duly responded to. Also, I want to appreciate our moderator for joining us tonight, for moderating the session. You did a fantastic job. Thank you so very much. Once again, thank you to all our speakers and for everyone that tuned in at every point in time in this conversation to listen to us. This is us saying a big thank you to you. We'll do it again same time tomorrow, starting 6 p.m. We promise not to wait for anybody tomorrow, so that you don't miss out on any part of the event tomorrow. Make sure you join us early, July 28th. That's Sunday tomorrow, 6 p.m. again. We'll be having lineup of another great and awesome speaker share with us tomorrow on a different topic and an entire stage of book publishing as well. And I trust that you're also going to gain valuable insight from that conversation. So do well to share. Go ahead and share the link. Watch the replay. It's going to be available till tomorrow. So do well to watch the replay and drop your comments as well. Thank you so very much, everyone. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you so much for you.
This marks the end of the day one event for the PublishNation Virtual Conference 2024. Thank you very much. All right, Chidima, do you have any final words to say?
No, I don't. They
Um,
said all. They said enough. Thank you, guys.
yeah. All right,
And
now
thank you too
thank
for
you.
bringing me on this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, so that's all for tonight. See you again tomorrow.
It's amazing how you love.